One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Burger King's kicking up the flavor.
Things are heating up at Burger King. Introducing the all-new Fiery Menu. 5 of your favorite items now at 5 levels of heat. From mild with fiery strawberry and Sprite to wild with the fiery bacon royal crispy chicken. Now that's major.
You roll your season today at BK. Have it your way. You roll.
Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Spicy strawberry puree with Sprite.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Middle of the day Wednesday, temperatures already in the lower 80s as we head into the afternoon. Highs 86 to 88. Not all that humid, partly cloudy. Overnight pleasant, mid-60s under a mainly clear sky. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check your money. Dow Jones is up 297 points to 40,062.
O'Connell with 1 second. Left wing three on the way. Banks it in. He got it. I don't believe it.
Jeremy Backsell has Roberts on him into the paint. Rises up. Big time.
Young throws. He's got Tommy. Near side 2-1. Touchdown Carolina.
To Ryan. Catch and shoot three. Right wing. He did it again. Ryan has 27. Anderson makes a save. And it's kept out by Martin. What a save. Martin just robbed Liquid.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. On a Wednesday, Tim Donnelly here alongside Dennis Cox producing the show as always. And tomorrow, the Panthers, we're going to see Bryce Young play against another team. Kind of. We may not see it in a preseason game, but I'm confident in joint practices tomorrow against the Jets. At least in like 7-on-7, controlled 11-on-11, maybe some red zone work, maybe a 2-minute drill. The Panthers starters, or at least the healthy ones, are going to get a chance to hit somebody wearing a different colored jersey for the first time this training camp. If you can't tell, I'm jacked. The real question is, though, and I didn't even know this was the question to ask until read an article, is Bryce Young playing for his job already? I mean, that's the ultimate NFL question, right? He was the number 1 overall pick, like, was it 16 months ago? And now all of a sudden he's somebody who has his Panthers mortality on the horizon. I was actually kind of shocked, but maybe not because I clicked the article. ESPN put out an article. It said 2025 NFL quarterback predictions, 11 teams with questions, which means not this year, next year. Which team doesn't know who their quarterback's going to be? Who has a up in the air, could change quarterback situation for next season? And again, I clicked the link, so I must have been at least a little like, I bet you they put the Panthers on there, right? Like, there's no way, but I want to see anyway. I click on the link. There's 11 teams, so they were right with their headline, 11 teams. Most of them made sense. Atlanta's there. Well, they have 2 quarterbacks, right? They have Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr., so which one is it going to be? Up in the air. Dallas is on the list. That's because Dak Prescott's contract is up after this year, as of right now.
Makes sense.
The Raiders are on the list. They have a 50-50 quarterback competition going on, right? They don't know who their quarterback is for this year, so they darn sure don't know who their quarterback is for next year.
Also makes sense.
The Rams and the Jets are on the list because they have 30 upper 30s to 40-year-old quarterbacks that might retire. Matt Stafford and Aaron Rodgers.
Old quarterbacks.
You have a second-round starter in Tennessee. They're on the list. You have Daniel Jones. You have Geno Smith. Their teams are on the list because contract situations allow them to get out of those contracts afterwards. And then there's Carolina. They're the oddball. They're the odd one out. Everyone on the list has like a contract that's up or a quarterback competition, that like something tangible that says they don't know who their quarterback's going to be in 2025. The Panthers are there because they're anticipating, or at least open to the possibility, of a quarterback who is under contract at a very, very reasonable salary, rookie contract controlled, through 2027, saying they might not make it to 2025.
Bruh.
Is Bryce Young playing for his job already? Part of the article's justification: if the notoriously patient Steelers can give up on Kenny Pickett after just 2 years, are we really supposed to believe David Tepper's team wouldn't consider moving on from Young after 2? All right, that's a good point. There's some fact there. And if the argument is simply David Tepper, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to stop that conversation there, I get it. Right? He does appear as if somebody that could wake up on a Thursday and absolutely love somebody that works for him, wake up on a Friday and say, well, you're not working for us next week. Like, it just...
Clear your desk.
Yeah. Luckily, we did this on the weekend, so you don't have to come back in on Monday. Like, if that's the sole argument, fine. But if the argument is, should he be playing for his job? He should not be playing for his job. I'd do everything possible if I were his coach or his GM to make him believe that he is secure for at least the next 2 years, and I would mean that. I wouldn't be lying. Sometimes you have to lie as a coach. I'd be honest in that one. And I think Pickett's a great example. Pickett was moved on from after 3 years. Or sorry, after 2 years. His third year, he's elsewhere. And that's like, if it could happen to Pickett, it could happen to Bryce. I'm going, well, you have to make sure their situations are the same.
Very different situations.
Pickett has maybe the most stability at head coach when he was with the Steelers of anyone. Needless to say, Bryce Young had instability at head coach. Najee Harris running for 1,000 yards. Jaylen Warren off the bench for running back for the Steelers. Deontay Johnson catching 86 passes. George Pickens is a legitimate big play threat. Pat Freiermuth as a safety blanket making 63 catches. A top 10 defense in the NFL in points allowed. And need I mention Mike Tomlin again? The Steelers had a really nice incubator to see if the quarterback was working or not. And after 2 years, they decided he wasn't.
He also got hurt a bunch.
Yes, and
concussions, ankle injuries.
You never really had, like, we'll talk about it later, like the J.J. McCarthy big season ender, but he had a lot of little stuff that kept him out like 2-3 games at a time.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at what Bryce had his rookie year, didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher, didn't have Mike Tomlin for darn sure, didn't have 2 different wide receivers you could trust to make plays, didn't have a tight end to be the safety blanket, didn't have. It's not the same. You can't say Bryce Young isn't a good enough quarterback to win with a good enough roster because we haven't seen him with a good enough roster. So if let's say you all right, fine. We'll treat him exactly like Kenny Pickett. We'll give him 2 years after you put a competent roster around him. I'm fine with that. Bryce's rookie year is a wash, and it's not cool to act like his clock started last year. It's almost like he got to the party early, right? You don't show up to a party before, like, the music's on, they haven't finished putting the decorations up, no food's out, then leave before the party even starts and say, that party stunk. They didn't have any food. They didn't have any decorations. They didn't have any music.
Terrible vibes.
It's like, well, yeah, it starts at 6. You got there at 4, left at 4:45. That's what you're trying to say about Bryce Young. Right? Oh, he's not a good enough quarterback. The Panthers haven't even started the party yet. We have to see how good the roster is this year to see if the party starts this year. There's some reports that maybe the offensive line is going to show up fashionably late to the party, if they show up at all. There are some injuries. Deontay Johnson already dealing with some stuff. Xavier Legette already dealing with some stuff. We know Jonathan Brooks isn't going to be there at the beginning of the year. You need to give a quarterback enough to evaluate him. Bryce's rookie year is a wash, and it's not cool to act like the clock started last year, which is what they're doing in this article. They're treating him the same way the Giants should be treating Daniel Jones,
who's going into year 6
and has had all pro running backs with him and has played with top line wide receiver. Like there's been ins and outs, and they've used draft picks to help them. All of the draft picks on the offensive line that the Giants have used,
and they've paid him $40 million a year.
Bryce Young hasn't been given the same tools to be judged the way a lot of the other quarterbacks should be judged. Dave Canales is watching this preseason and getting really what I believe is his first look at Bryce. You can't watch the tape of last year and walk away thinking, I know who that quarterback is. You may see flashes, potential, but you can't. So Dave Canales is getting his first look at him right now, and over the past couple of days, couple interceptions. Multiple practices back-to-back with the defense getting their hand on the ball after Bryce Young let it go. Dave Canales isn't even arguing that's a terrible thing.
Turnovers are always just something that we want to continue to look at and say, what happened here? And just get to the bottom of it. For me, again, the interceptions happen when we're trying, so I have no problem with that. It's if we're not throwing interceptions, we're not trying stuff. We're not trying to make those tight throws, and we know NFL football is tightly played. It's tight throws, and particularly with our defense, the way that those guys are just continuing to hone in. We've been playing against each other a lot. They're taking advantage of those ops. So for me, I don't look too far into it other than just what happened on this play, so we can correct it and we can move forward.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, beat a dead horse, whatever you want your cliche to be here. Dave, that's why you got to play him in the preseason. Because that's when you get the look of, okay, this is a game, right? If in practice, all right, let's fit it into the small window, see if you can, let's test ourselves, let's figure it out. You get to a preseason game, that's the simulated, like, I don't want to experiment. I'm here to find completions. I'm here to make plays.
Yeah, test it there too. Preseason game, doesn't matter. Test it there too.
Well, I think you treat preseason games like that's the difference. You go out there and you're not like, oh, let me see if I can fit this in. This is like, treat it like a game. Mm-hmm. Would you throw this in a game? If you would throw it in a game, let it fly. If you wouldn't, don't. Want to come back to practice and audition some stuff, figure it out, that's fine. But that's the difference, right? You cannot be mad about interceptions in practice. In preseason, it's like, all right, that's a bigger deal. We need to look into why you thought you could throw that. But no, I don't think he should be playing for his job. The article even insinuates that, like, bottom scenario, Bryce Young plays so poorly that Andy Dalton has to start multiple games this year, which that accelerates the clock even further. That's not even saying, like, play out this year, we'll figure it out next offseason. That's like, hey, first half of this year, you better show us something, or else we're going to the veteran in Andy Dalton just to stabilize things. I can't imagine that is something that should even be discussed.
That's just hitting the eject button. That's all that is.
That's
abort mission, eject, out.
That's you took the job and you didn't believe in Bryce, and you're just going like, well, we got to pretend like we gave him a shot. Like if you're benching him like week 7, that's finally. I think it's long enough. I think Tepper will believe we actually tried. Which I don't think is happening, by the way. That's just a little hypothetical game. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are going to jump out of the hypotheticals and jump into the actual lists that came out today. For our 99 questions about the college football season series, we ask this. Did ESPN get the All-American teams correct? I'll tell you, there is one person from the Triangle on the first team All-Americans. Stick around.
Get ready for the ultimate football fan experience. Hey, it's Victoria Boatnecker here for 99.9 The Fan. Join us at Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail in Raleigh this Friday, August 16th from 6 to 7:45 p.m. Enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas to see Carolina take on Vegas with a 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino and a $400 food credit. Again, that's Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail Trail this Friday. I'll see you there.
Get the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 powered by Galaxy AI with Spectrum free anytime upgrade. Use Circle to search with Google to see more and search more on the large Z Fold 6 screen. Or capture perfectly framed pics using FlexCam and Z Flip 6. Order now with Spectrum free anytime upgrade and get up to $1,000 off, plus the value of your trade-in. Visit a Spectrum store or SpectrumMobile.com today. Offer subject to change, valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Date the rate, marry the house. A phrase often used by realtors to describe the difference between keeping your new forever home as opposed to your mortgage rate, which you'll only keep until something better comes along, kind of like speed dating. A recent study by the Wall Street Journal further supports this notion by finding the average life of a loan to be less than 4 years. Their suggestion? Find a no-fee loan, which is exactly what Miller Lending has been telling you since 1996. With no closing costs of any kind, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance each time something better comes along. So while builders promote buy-downs with over $10,000 in closing costs, or lenders advertise crazy low rates with even more, Miller Lending continues to be the leader in the no-cost mortgage. So before you throw away thousands of needless fees, pick up the phone and call your local neighborhood lender, Miller Lending in Cary, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146.
You know it's going to be a good day when your biggest concern in the morning is collecting the crumbs falling from the McDonald's crispy chicken biscuit. Your only concern should be, has your day peaked too early?
Start your morning off on a high note when you save on a warm and buttery crispy chicken biscuit for just $2.50. Only at McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Drive into summer with a new Honda. Make an impression with the unmistakable style of the HR-V or turn heads in the sporty Civic. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 3.9% APR on a 2025 HR-V or at 4.9% APR on a 2025 Civic.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic SI and Type R based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump to our 99 questions about the college football season, it's time for our 3 o'clock keyword in our Fan Football Flyaway. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. This hour's word is... Oh, this is a good one. This hour's word is win. W-I-N. In case you're wondering, there is no I in team, but there is one in win, right in the middle there. W-I-N. Text WIN to 919-860-5326 to enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas, flights, accommodations, and you get to see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. It's called the Fan Football Flyaway, and every hour between noon and 6 every weekday for the foreseeable future, we are allowing you to get another entry every hour. But you have to text in that hour's keyword before the hour is up. So this word is good from now until 4 o'clock. You have to text in WIN to 919-860-5326 before the clock strikes 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then you'll get an entry into the Fan Football Flyaway, and then you'll have to listen again for another keyword coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. But the word for this hour is WIN. The number to text it in, 919-860-5326. Fan Football Flyway. Now let's get into 99 questions about the college football season. And here's how it's going to go. Earlier today, ESPN put out their All-American team in college football, so we're simply asking, did they get it right? We're simply asking, was someone locally snubbed? We're simply asking, what could they have done better? We're like a coach today, right? No matter how good you are, you can always do better. Well, I can tell you this. There is one player on the first team, ESPN All-American team from the Triangle, and it's somebody that we've been talking about in very, very glowing ways for the last year. It's Omarion Hampton from UNC. Now, if we're getting as fine-tuning with the nitpicking as possible, I don't know if the order of the running backs mattered, but they did list Ollie Gordon, a running back from Oklahoma State, first. I don't know. Could be alphabetical, right? H-I-G, H-I-J-K, L-M-N. Ollie, I don't know what their real names are.
Sure.
Either way, what I'm getting at is Omarion Hampton should be first. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to nitpick. He was a first-teamer. The other first-teamers from the ACC, linebacker Barrett Carter of Clemson. That one makes a lot of sense. Probably could have been a pretty high draft pick for an off-ball linebacker if he decided to go pro last year, decided to come back. And then there's, do we count punters? Do we count special teams?
Absolutely. Special teams matter.
Even if it's Florida State? Just put you in a pretzel there, didn't I?
Yeah, I kind of did.
You're pro special teams, anti-FSU. Alex Mastromano of Florida State is the first-team punter.
Let's go.
Second team, another Clemson player on defense, defensive tackle Peter Woods, and another special teamer, this one from Miami, kicker Andres Borregales. And that's it from the ACC. This is one of those deals where I'm going to not do what is a pet peeve of mine that other people do. I do think there should be more than 5 ACC players in the All-American first and second team, but there's very few places where I would actually have an answer to, like, all right, who's coming off, right? I've said this before. All of the preseason rankings of offensive linemen I take with a handful of salt because it's so hard to truly, unless you are an NFL scout who spends your entire year scouting offensive linemen, it's so hard to know, was it the guard or the tackle that made that play awesome on an open hole for a running back to run through? Was it a double team that allowed them to negate a stud edge rusher, or was it an individual effort by the tackle? Like, it's so hard to know, on a play in and play out basis. So I'm not going to sit here and say they should have an offensive lineman. If there's one I'd look at, and to finish my thought, I don't like when people scream about somebody that should be on a list unless you're willing to name who shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, say who shouldn't be there.
It's like, someone puts out a list of top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, and you're going to hear a lot of, how in the world is Trevor Lawrence not on that list? If he's not, and I just look at him and go, who do you want me to take off? Right? Are you
justify it?
Are you knocking off Joe Burrow? Are you knocking off, who are we talking about? So I'm not just going to sit here and rant and rave about, there should be more ACC unless I'm willing to go into the nitty-gritty and say this guy should be over that guy. There is one place I'll say this guy should be over that guy. Casey Concepcion is a better player than at least 2 of the wide receivers on the first and second team All-American list. They have Luther Burden of Missouri, Tairoa McMillan of Arizona as first-teamers. They have Tez Johnson from Oregon, Torrey Horton from Colorado State as their second-teamers. He's at least a second-teamer. Tez Johnson, by the way, I looked up the odds for who would win the Biletnikoff Award this year. Tez Johnson isn't even the best on his own team. There's another wide receiver from Oregon over him on that list, yet he's supposed to be one of the top 4 wide receivers in the entire country. Casey Concepcion is a better player, and the reason I say that is because versatility, right? All of the guys that are on the list have more receiving yards last year than Casey Concepcion. I would argue that they are also older, so a little development going on there. But also, none of them have anywhere near the rushing yards that Casey Concepcion has. And until wide receiver becomes just a receiving thing, right? Unless it's like, we only take receiving into categories when we're talking All-Americans, then it still matters. And his ability to pressure a defense in multiple ways increases his impact on the game.
You have to look at it from the whole.
Yep.
You know, like, okay, yeah, like just like you said, looking at receiving stats, like, well, he does more than just that.
Exactly. And and let me be clear on this. It's not like he's a slouch on like routing people up and beating them on a deep post.
There's that too.
Right? It's he brings that and also this other thing, right? When you're playing for Oregon, you're going to have a lot of like, you have who's the now I'm blanking on it. He was just drafted. He's playing for the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix and the wide receiver, I think it's Troy something. When you have another NFL 4th-round pick wide receiver on the other side, you probably don't have to be as good routing people up as you do when there's nobody else that the defense is keying up on. Matter of fact, one of the reasons I'm excited for KC Concepcion this year is because there's finally an offense where the other team isn't, as soon as they line up, going, number 10's over here. Number 10's over here. No, forget about the people on that side. Number 10 is over here.
I think that's what made last year even more impressive, is because
Exactly.
every defense was like, number 10 is over here.
Let's get
And he
3
still
guys
put up
on him,
yards.
and he's still going to go for 50. Grayson McCall, the quarterback that's going to be in charge of getting the ball to KC Concepcion, talks about how the receiving group is coming together this year.
I think they push each other every day. They really do. They come to work, and I think I've done a good job kind of bringing those guys together and getting them on the same page. But I mean, they do a fantastic job. Like I said, there's so many playmakers around me. It makes my job so much easier to just find the open guy, get in the fast guy's hands, and let him run. So really excited about working with that whole group.
I think that open guy is going to be KC Concepcion quite a bit. If we're asking the question, right, this one is, did they get it right? I think for the most part they did. We can squabble on the details. If we were asking who's most likely to be on this list in the postseason that's not there now, I think KC Concepcion would be my pick. Omarion Hampton's going to be there, but he's there now. And I don't know about Florida State and Miami's kickers. Special teams, right? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to take a tour de force around the ACC. Which team, every team. Let me phrase that in a better way. Every team in the ACC, what's their thing? What's the storyline for them? What's their thing coming up this season? Stick around.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Have you heard of plantar fasciitis? Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store. Imagine jumping off the back of a pickup truck onto some rocks. That's what it felt like when I was suffering from plantar fasciitis. After searching and trying so many other products, I finally found relief with Good Feet arch supports, and they still keep me running today. Now I get to help others who are struggling with plantar fasciitis to live their life pain-free. Here's another customer sharing their Good Feet story.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain. It just hurts all the time. It feels like your foot is squeezing on itself. When I drove past the Good Feet store, I thought, I'm just gonna stop in. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support that were personally fitted just for me. Then it was like, okay, this is something special. These make a difference.
The Good Feet store is in Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Fayetteville, and other locations across North Carolina. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today, or just stop by the store nearest you.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50, $70, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the fives, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Welcome to Staples, young man. I'm starting first grade. Aw. Well, you know, Staples has crayons, markers, glue. I need a laptop. Oh, sure. With Staples Hot Deals, you can save up to $500 on select PCs.
The finances are Mom's department.
Right.
I'm looking for performance, like a Core i7 processor.
Boy, first grade has really changed.
Totally.
Save big on tech for school with Staples Hot Deals. With up to $500 off select PCs. Ends 9/14 in-store only for participating stores. Visit staples.com/stores/school deals.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are going to ask, what is the thing, right? It's kind of one of those unexplainable, intangible things about the college football season, right? Every year, every team seems to have that thing that becomes the question that decides whether they win or lose, that becomes the storyline that follows them throughout the entire season. What is the thing about each ACC team? We are going to ask that question. We're going to go through alphabetically. But before we do that, during the commercial break, I was talking with Dennis Cox, our producer, and he said on our YouTube comments, he simply asked a question of, is the criticism of Bryce Young, such as the ESPN article asking if he will be the quarterback beyond this season in Carolina, or the interceptions that are maybe piling up over the last 2 days in practice and the reaction to those. He asked if the criticism of Bryce Young was fair. And Dennis, you were telling me that there's a little, let me think of the way to put this, a ferocious back and forth?
Very animated back and forth, to say the least. So, for example, you gave the comparison that ESPN did about Kenny Pickett moving on, the Steelers moving on from Kenny Pickett after just 2 seasons. Would they do the same? This one comes from Mr. Don Franklin. Mr. Don Franklin. He said, if you swap Pickett and Young in college, and Pickett would have been probably the number 1 overall pick. If the Panthers win less than 5 games, it's time to move on. But there are others, like PSY Burns, saying way too early to panic on Bryce. People got to calm down and give him time to develop. But again, just a lot of the back and forth and regarding, hey, you know what? Bryce gave up so much for him. You should cover for the deficiencies on the roster. So, but also people are saying, you know what? No one would have been successful with that roster. So again, the back and forth amongst Panthers fans is no different than what we've discussed here on air before. But the fan base is clearly split.
Correct me if I'm wrong on the Kenny Pickett comparison. If they swapped their careers in college,
well, if Pickett played at Alabama,
I'm Pickett going into his senior year, which by the way was his first year of elite production. That's the year that Bryce Young would be going into now. Bryce Young played 3 years in college. Kenny Pickett played 6.
5, maybe 6.
5, maybe 6 with the COVID year. And he didn't pop till his senior year. He was a starter, and he did solid, but his senior year was kind of the awakening. So I don't think if you switched that Kenny Pickett would have been the number 1 overall pick after 3 seasons like Bryce Young was, even if you throw in a much better supporting cast. Although Jordan Addison was at Pitt. Jordan, he had a first-round pick wide receiver at Pitt as well. So, let's not get so carried away that, we act like Pitt didn't have anything, right? Jamison Williams was great at Alabama for Bryce Young, but Jordan Addison, who, by the way, just got hurt today, carted off for the Minnesota Vikings. We don't know much more than that. Jordan Addison was pretty good as well. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's get back to our ACC conversation. What is the thing about each ACC team? And the way I came up with these is no team is the same, right? This is one of those you know it when you see it things. Some of them were decided upon based on what I saw at ACC kickoff. Some of them were decided upon based on what they did in the transfer portal, their histories, a lot of different ways to go. But we're just going to go alphabetically through it, starting with Boston College. What is Boston College's thing this year? It's Bill O'Brien. Can Bill O'Brien make people want to play and stay in Boston, right? It's been one of those more difficult situations to recruit to. Jeff Hafley, their coach, who I got a few friends that are actually Boston College fans. They liked Hafley. He left to be a defensive coordinator in the NFL
for the
Packers. So Bill O'Brien taking over. Bill O'Brien could have a lot of different college jobs. Let's just call a spade a spade. He won 3 straight division titles in the NFL. He turned around Penn State in unbelievable time after the Joe Paterno sanctions and everything. So he chose Boston College. I think their thing is going to be, can he make others choose Boston College? Can he make recruits and transfers and elite assistant coaches choose Boston College? Because it seems like they're getting, over the last 10, 15, like really since Matt Ryan, it feels like they've been dealing with the best they could do, right? It's like, what else are you going to do? We're trying here. But Bill O'Brien can bring a little bit more spark to that.
Well, the question is, will he want to stay in Boston?
True.
If he does well this season, someone's going to come knocking on the door.
Very true.
With his track record.
And this was something I noticed at ACC kickoff. It's the first time like Boston College's coach walked into the room and people's heads kind of turned. Like, oh, look, it's the Boston College coach. I mean, they were saying it's Bill O'Brien. But it's a new kind of swag for them, I guess might be the term. Cal.
Who?
Cal. The Berkeley Bears. This could just be like, how's the ACC going to be? But I tried to go beyond that with all 3 new teams, just saying, like, what's it like to travel? How good is Jaden Ott? I think that's what it comes down to. Because Jaden Ott was unbelievable, and I've fallen in love with some of his highlights, and I've watched the YouTube. But there is a bit of a Pac-12 old reputation that they weren't always the stoutest on defense, particularly in the front 7, right? The Pac-12, it was the Pac-12 after dark. The score is going to be 68-57, and there's going to be some actual good defensive backs that have like pick sixes in the game. But the front 7s were never very vaunted. So I want to see what Jaden Ott does in the ACC when he has to go up against some teams, some coaches, some defensive coordinators that are more apt to dealing with, smash mouth off tackle running games. He's really good though. Clemson. Clemson, I mean, I say every team has one storyline about them. There's always this kind of, you don't know it until you see it, the spine of their skeleton of a season. Clemson is one of the few teams that can have like 12. It just seems like they usually have a lot going on. But I think the main one is this. Do you need transfers to compete with top contenders? They're playing Georgia right out the gosh darn gate. Now, Clemson has played those big games in the past, right? They've played the best teams in the SEC, the best teams from the Big 12, like in non-conference games. They've never looked out-talented. They've won some, they've lost some, but they've always looked like they're on par with, speed and size and all those things, at least over the last 10, 12 years. I want to see them against Georgia in week 1. I want to see them against State in, I think, week 4. I want to see them against some of these teams that have embraced the transfer portal and see if it's like, ooh, there's a couple guys on the field that look pretty outmatched for Clemson. I'm sure they would have liked to have replaced them on the depth chart. Like obviously Barrett Carter is going to be fine, right? Obviously they're going to have their handful of guys that are still going to be elite. But do you need transfers to compete with the top contenders, top to bottom? Duke's up next in alphabetical order. I'm interested to see if you agree with this one, Dennis.
Okay.
I have, can Manny Diaz keep Mike Elko's momentum alive? As the question, the storyline. And the reason being, I'll give you my little explanation here, my elevator pitch. I think everything they do this year is going to be compared to the last two. Their first big game, if they lose, it's going to be, well, they played much better than them last year. Their defense, if they give up 30 points, it's going to go, well, Mike Elko's team only gave up 19 a game. Like, everything they do is going to be so directly compared, let alone if Riley Leonard is playing well at Notre Dame or if Mike Elko has the team playing well at Texas A&M. Like, everything is just going to be so compared. So if Manny Diaz can do just a few things better, just a handful, so they can say, well, actually, we improved there. Based on last year, I think that would go a long way towards making the story a happy one.
He's just got to keep the ship moving.
He's got to keep and keep the ship moving, and also not move back in too many ways.
I mean,
like the talent is less. Your best offensive players for Notre Dame, your best defensive players playing for Virginia Tech, your head coach is coaching for Texas A&M.
You have 2 offensive linemen in the NFL now.
Yes. One a first-round pick
and a
that's going to be
defensive
starting.
lineman that was like a 3rd or 4th-round pick, and Dwayne Carter.
And your running back is playing for NC State. Like,
yeah.
You're going to take steps back, but I think as long as you mix in like a leap forward somewhere, it's that's going to give you a lot of like, hey, we're keeping the momentum going, even if, we're not going to win 9 games this year.
I think through their first 4 games, they should be 3-1. Through their first 4.
I think that would go a long way towards making the rest of the season palatable.
And you can ride that momentum to 8-4. Mm-hmm. And you know what?
8-4, sign me up.
Yeah, if you're Duke, 8-4, yeah, absolutely.
Sign me up. Bowl eligibility by a while. Like it's not coming down to the wire. That probably means you have your quarterback situation figured out. Like there's a lot of good that comes with 8-4. Florida State. I had 2, and I'm going to let you pick, Dennis. One's football, one's not related to football. One is, how big does the gap, the wedge, that's the word. How big does the wedge that's been driven between Florida State and the ACC grow as far as they don't want to be here?
No, clearly.
As far as, well, if you don't want to be here, we're going to make it miserable for you.
And that's the school, not the players.
No, but I do think other schools will look at that and go like, we better stick it to them.
Maybe.
And then the other is, was it smart to bring DJ Uyunglele back to the ACC?
Talk about a guy with a chip on his shoulder, I'm sure.
I get that he played better at Oregon State. I get that he's a new man. I get that he's older, more mature, wiser. But I remember the last time he was in the ACC.
Yeah, he was sitting on the bench of Clemson behind Kate Klubnik.
Was it like, that's a big – Florida State is a good roster. They have good talent just about everywhere. They play the portal with a lot of NIL money. They recruit well out of high school. They return, obviously, some key components of a really good season from last year. They're betting it all on DJU.
I remember in the ACC championship game 2 years ago, 2022, against North Carolina, he got benched for Klubnik. I was there.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
It's a long way from that magical freshman game when Trevor Lawrence didn't play against Notre Dame and he threw for like 500 yards. So Florida State, I guess we'll go with, was it smart to bring DJU back is kind of the question.
That's the big question.
Because if it doesn't work, if DJU struggles, we're all going to look around and be like, yeah, could have told you that one, bud. Like, it's not going to – sometimes I do this in gambling. I just make the pick that I think I'll feel less stupid about if it's wrong. Just to save myself some sanity. It does seem like if you bring the guy back to a place where he failed before and he fails again, you're going to go like, yeah, we overthought that one, didn't we? We not our best. Georgia Tech, this might be my favorite storyline. Can you win in the ACC consistently with an offensive line coach and an offensive line mentality as your head coach? Georgia Tech is going to pound the rock. They are coached by like almost a sitcom version of a coach. I, by the way, really like what they do, but they led the league in rushing yards per game, yards per carry. Like, they are a running team. When everyone else is going, let's air it out. Let's get 4 wide receivers out there. How many guys that are on a 4-4 can we get on the field at the same time? Our running game is going to be mostly RPOs. So even our running game could be a 20-yard touchdown pass. Georgia Tech is like, or, hear me out, your head coach could be a former offensive line coach. We could get a tight end that's 280, put him next to the offensive line, and run downhill at you. That's just going to be the story of Georgia Tech. And then, yes, Haynes King, your quarterback, to make a few third down completions, a couple big plays, call it a day.
Remember when they were down in the fourth quarter against North Carolina and they ran the football to come back?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how they're going to win games. Simple as that. That's how they're going to win.
Quarterback turns it's the definition of an offensive line coach. If quarterback throws a pick on like the second drive, you're just going to the offensive line. We won't throw it then. We're going to run it every play. Can't trust them. Like, it's just that's the Georgia Tech vibe I get. Louisville, as we make our way around the ACC, what's their thing for each team? They're the opposite of Clemson. Clemson, it's can you win with no transfers? Louisville is almost can you win exclusively with transfers.
That's all they do.
8 of their projected starters on offense are incoming transfers this year. 8 of the 11. And the ones you care about, right? They have their number 1 wide receiver, the quarterback, the running back, a bunch of the offensive line. Like, they are transfer you. And they did pretty much the same thing last year, right? Brom, their new coach, brought in a bunch of transfers with them, and they had success. So he said, let's do it again.
Let's run it back.
I don't know if that's going to be consistent. I think every couple years you could stumble into like, hey, we got all the right transfers. We're really good. I'm not sure if that's an every year thing where you're just like, new offense, ready-made, put it in the microwave. Miami. Is it cruel to just ask the same question you could ask for Miami for the last 20 years? The storyline for Miami is the same. Will they ever live up to the hype? Will they ever live up to their recruiting rankings? Will the U ever be back? That's what it is. That's what it's always going to be.
Yep, 7-5 Miami last year.
They're going to have NFL first-round draft picks. They're going to have 5-star recruits.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have big-name boosters. They're going to have, like, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on the sideline and Willis McGahee and Frank Gore and Andre Johnson and Santonio Moss. Was it Santonio Moss? Did I make that up?
Santana Moss.
Santonio Holmes and Santana Moss. Santana Moss. Like, they're going to all be there. Will you live up to the hype? I wish I could see the amount of, like, celebrity sideline passes for, like, week 2 again for Miami compared to week 12 every year. Because, like, week 2, we're back. Let's get Michael Irvin. Let's get all of them. And then week 12, it's like, hey, man, we got Ken Dorsey. Actually, he's probably coaching. NC State. It's the offensive weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
It's Casey Concepcion. It's Noah Rogers. It's Justin Jolie. It's Jordan Waters. It's Wesley Grimes. It's Collins coming back, having a big year. Like, that's what it is. It's can you take advantage of the weaponry? We've talked about them a lot. UNC we've talked about a lot. UNC's up next. Will the quarterback be good enough?
Well, who is it?
Notice I didn't say will Max Johnson be good enough. I didn't say will Connor Harrell. I said will the quarterback be good enough. I think their defense will be improved. Obviously, they need to find a pass rush. Hadn't done that last couple of years. And they have to replace Cedric Gray, but I like Power Echols back there. I think their running game is going to be great. I think they have enough pass catchers, particularly tight ends. It's will the quarterback be good enough? For Pitt as a whole team, they're kind of just Pitt. They're always going to be Pitt. They got Pitt, right? Narduzzi, they're Pitt. I'm fascinated by their quarterback, Nate Yarnell. He played 6 games. Started 6 games in his high school career. And then he has 6 appearances in college.
That's it.
And he's going into, I believe, his 4th year of college, which means over the last 8 years, he has made 9 starts. And now he's going to be the starting quarterback for an ACC team. So I guess the storyline is going to be, do you have to play football to get really good at football?
Apparently not.
Can you just walk in and be good at it after practicing? SMU, I think it's all about the jump to the ACC. How tough is it to jump from Group of 5 to Power 5? Everyone's really excited about you, but can you execute week in and week out against better competition? Stanford, this could be mean. Do they care about football anymore? It seems like there's a little pushing to the back burner of football for Stanford. It's not as invested in the way it once was. They got a lot of Olympians. They got a lot of billionaire alumni. They got a lot of other things they're interested in, solving diseases and things. They got a lot of other things Stanford is focused on. Do they care about football anymore?
And their athletic department outside of football is phenomenal.
Yes. I mean,
they're just like UVA in that regard.
I want to say they were number one as far as medals won by alumni or current people.
Yeah, ACC.
Stanford, Cal, UVA, 1, 2, 3. ACC stand up.
Let's go.
Granted, that was a lot of Katie Ledecky.
I don't care. He's an ACC legend.
Syracuse. It's Kyle McCord, right? He's coming from Ohio State where he was playing for, a national championship right up until the end last year.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is his first time in 7 years where he is a quarterback on a team that doesn't have Marvin Harrison Jr. They played together all through high school, all through college. That's a big safety blanket to suddenly be without.
How good are you?
Let's find out, right?
I could probably throw for 150 yards if I have Marvin Harrison Jr. as a wide receiver.
Okay, like they give you like an old school John Gruden play, right? Trips right, spider Y banana, X under with a backside George reverse. Like your life depends on it. Who's your first read? Expecting to say like post, expecting to play, play side seam, whatever it is. Where's Marvin?
Yeah,
that's my first read.
Him.
Then I try to figure something else out, but I always look to Marvin first. Can't do that at Syracuse this year. UVA. Will Tony Elliott work at all? I have to admit, when Tony Elliott took over at UVA, I thought that was going to be a really good mesh. He was the offensive coordinator from Clemson. He knew how to recruit the region. He had an offense that had produced Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and ETN and all of these guys, all these receivers. And I was like, UVA, they got some resources, right? They got some rich alumni. Like, this might be a thing. They promised new stadium upgrades. It just hasn't been there since Tony Elliott took over. It hasn't had that whatever I thought was going to happen. And he's now been there a handful of years. Maybe not 5, but not 1 either. So it's getting to put up or shut up time for the coach. Virginia Tech, how much does stability matter? They're bringing back, depending on what you consider a returning starter, 21 or 22 starters. There's one that started like 6 games. I don't know if you count that.
Yeah, I count it.
22 starters.
Half the season.
Everybody that says the portal, that's not how you build the program. You can't keep recruiting over these guys. Oh, you can't. You mess with their heads. You need to be loyal. Virginia Tech's bringing back all their starters.
Yeah.
Now, Aeneas Peoples from Duke will probably work his way into that starting lineup.
Probably.
But they're returning a defensive tackle there if they need to. How much does that actually translate to wins?
Virginia Tech football right now is just an entrance. That's all you are. They're just an entrance.
You mean the
Enter Sandman? You're just an entrance. That's all you are.
They're good.
Outside of that,
they have good turkey legs in the stands.
Good for them. Congrats.
I don't know. You like talking about stadium foods.
Sure.
Yeah, I think they were a dark horse last year, and it's now how much does stability actually build on that, or are you like everybody else where you're starting over from scratch, like every team that brought in a bunch of new guys, and then alphabetically only, not last in our hearts, Wake Forest.
Wake.
Can Dave Clawson get his program back to surprising people? That used to be a guarantee. Even when they won like, 11, 12 games in 2021, whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
Even that year, I feel like there were like 3 or 4 games where you're like, oh, yeah, their opponent wasn't expecting the punch in the mouth they just got. Wake Forest was just always about catching you sleeping. They were going to punch you in the mouth. They were going to surprise you. They were going to pop out with a really good performance against a ranked team. Last year, it didn't feel like that. Last year, it felt like my 3-year-old when they're hiding, right? He's like just laying down on the couch thinking he's hiding. We got to pretend like we don't see him. Whoa, where could you be? He's got a pillow blocking his face, but his whole body's out in the open. Like, that was Wake Forest sneaking up on people last year. Before that, they were the ones that you couldn't find. They were the friend who, when you were playing hide and seek as a kid, all right, everybody go hide. He went and got snacks because he was like, I'm going to be there for a while, and y'all aren't going to find me. That was Wake Forest sneaking up on people. I want them to get back to that. Because I don't know if they're ever going to be a powerhouse.
So we saw it in 2016 through 2016 through 2019. 7 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins. Then 2020, COVID year, they went 4-5. Things were kind of wonky. Then the year after, they had the 11-3 season. 2022, 8-5 overall. They won the Gasparilla Bowl, so they had 7 wins in the regular season. Last year was kind of like the reset year. So anytime we've seen Dave Clawson kind of have that reset year, they've bounced back pretty strong.
So then that's kind of the question, right? Is can they do that again, get back to being them? And part of that also, like, it would be kind of incorrect to not mention you had Sam Hartman for a very long time and then you didn't. It's a certain level of confidence comes from having a guy that good for that long. And then last year, Mitch Griffiths tried admirably. They had 3 or 4 different quarterbacks that gave their best. Hopefully they have that solved this year so they can get back to punch people in the mouth. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will see if they come true, if those end up being the storylines. There's going to be a couple we can't predict. One last time I want to remind you, because you have 5 minutes to get your texts in, our 3 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway was win, W-I-N, and that keyword expires at 4 o'clock, and it's 3:55 right now. So you have 5 minutes to text it in if you want to get this hour's entry into our fan football flyaway, which the winner will receive a trip for 2 to Las Vegas with all the necessary Sin City includings. And you can see Carolina, I almost said win because the key word is win. I almost said you can see Carolina win against the Silver and Black in September.
I mean, they might.
Fingers crossed. But you can definitely see them play against the Silver and Black in September. Text in win to 919-860-5326, and you have about 4.5 minutes to do it. Win. Text it to 919-860-5326. We have football 4 coming up next, and another keyword for next hour, the 4 o'clock hour in our fan football flyaway. Stick around for that.
Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company want you to see football live in Las Vegas. It's our Fan Football Flyaway. Listen weekdays through August 29th. We'll reveal keywords every hour from noon to 6. Text in the keywords to enter for chances to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. We'll fly you to an amazing room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino, and we'll hook you up with seats for the Carolina-Las Vegas game. The Fan Football Flyaway, only on 99.9 The Fan. Viva Las Vegas.
It's August, and that means back to school is happening. Football season's getting here. You don't want to be cleaning when all that's going on. You want to be doing the fun stuff. Let Zero Res take the cleaning off your hands. It's a perfect time of year to get your air ducts cleaned this month with 25% off your air duct cleaning. And on top of that, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $115. It's all happening at ZeroResRaleigh.com, or you can call 919-995-0000.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Navy Federal Credit Union is back with more eligibility. Now you can hear all your favorites like, my brother's a veteran, I get amazing rates. My mom served, I get 24/7 member support. Grandpa was a soldier and now I'm a member. And who could forget, thanks to my father who served in the military, I'm now eligible for incredible member benefits. Call 1-855-800-2102 or visit NavyFederal.org today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Middle of the day Wednesday, temperatures already in the lower 80s as we head into the afternoon. Highs 86 to 88. Not all that humid, partly cloudy. Overnight pleasant, mid-60s under a mainly clear sky. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 257 points to 40,022.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into Football at 4, and trust me, we have some audio that you're going to want to hear. I'll leave it at that. Before we get to Football at 4, it's time for our 4 o'clock keyword in our Fan Football Flyaway, sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb and Company. This hour's word is kick. K-I-C-K. Would you like me to use it in a sentence?
Yeah.
The Vikings fan hurt his foot when he kicked the wall after both J.J. McCarthy and Jordan Addison were lost for the year in the first week or last 48 hours. Text KICK, K-I-C-K, to 919-860-5326 and enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas to see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. Again, this hour's keyword is KICK, K-I-C-K, and you need to text it in to 919-860-5326 before 5. So you have just a minute or two less than an hour. You need to text it in before 5 to get this hour's entry into the Fan Football Flyaway. And then I suggest you listen again in the 5 o'clock hour as we give you another keyword. 1 an hour, every hour, noon to 6, every weekday here on the Fan. Now let's get into Football at 4. And Dave Canales singing. Unless you saw it on social media, you did not think that's where I was going. The new head coach for the Carolina Panthers participated in a training camp ritual, right? Rookies have to go up to the front during team meeting, and there used to be skits involved. There used to be more. Now it's like you just go up there, you sing a song, You either give it your all, get the crowd into it, or you get booed off stage. It is a rite of passage. You see it on Hard Knocks. This is usually rookie players. But Dave Canales, man of the people, said, I guess I'm a rookie head coach, so I should do it as well. Here is Dave Canales singing for the Carolina Panthers.
Dave Canales, I'm the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. No signing bonus. Here we go. All right, got it. Rise up this morning. Okay. Smile at the rising sun. 3 little birds upon my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Somebody sing it out. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
I like it. I like the willingness to do it. I like the no shame. I mean, it's a little bit cheating when you're the head coach because there's no way the team isn't going to get behind you and start singing along.
Possibly.
But it's a funny move for a rookie coach. It's a spirits lifter. You're looking for those things in training camp. It's a funny move by a head coach. I do have to ask this question, though. Could you find a more on-the-nose song, like a perfect Dave Canales song choice than Every Little Thing Is Gonna Be All Right? We're talking Bob Marley, all major chords, upbeat, happy. Every little thing is going to be all right for the most optimistic person I've ever covered in sports media. I've covered high school. I've covered college. I've covered professional. I've never covered somebody as just steadfast, always optimistic. And that person came out and sang Every Little Thing Is Going to Be All Right. And he took it serious. It's actually a kind of a unique move for the training camp songs. Usually you go over the top so everybody knows you're in on the joke. Like, I know I can't sing, but I'm going for it. He was trying to sing. Those first like 2 or 3 lines, he was, I don't know if he had the pitch pipe, like the little whoo to get on key, but he was going for it. I like it.
If you're going to do it, lean into it.
I think he could, like, it would have been, he could have been a little bit more over the top leaning into it, but I'm not going to be Simon Cowell here and not put him through to Hollywood. You got your golden ticket, bud. From a more serious standpoint, I do think it's not like, I think there's a good chance he knew he was going to do that at some point in training camp.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
I think he was like, this will be a funny thing. The guys will like it. Training camp's a grind. Let's make sure we do it. But I do think he probably put a little thought into when. It wasn't just like he was sitting in the back of that meeting room or talking to him and said, you know what, today? I think he senses the pressure and the talk is ramping up, right? First preseason game means nothing, right? Let's get the clear. Preseason wins, losses, stats mean nothing. But it's all we've seen them do under Dave Canales, and it wasn't the best game in the world. All right. Well, I'm trying to speak it with like dulling the edge. Like it wasn't a good game. And I think the fans, I think the media, everyone's starting to just ask more questions, right? It used to be, hey, the roster is better. Oh, Dave Canales brings new energy. Now it's, is the offensive line going to hold back a better roster? Now it's, why aren't they scoring more? There's just questions. And I think he sensed it. And maybe he sensed the team tightening up a little bit, going like, ooh, we're not doing what we hope to be doing. So it's quite literally a move to show everyone he isn't worried, right? That, like, you don't crack jokes when you're worried, right? You don't crack jokes when you feel like you're hanging on by a thread. You don't crack jokes when you feel like you're on a treadmill and you're behind. crack jokes when you're like, no, we're good. We're moving in the right direction. The lyrics even say it. Don't worry. Every little thing's going to be all right. He was subconsciously maybe talking to his team. Because, let's be real. There have been a few, I wouldn't call them any, like we're not smashing the panic button. No alarms are going off. But there's a few like, hey, I want to monitor that. Edge rusher opposite Jadeveon Clowney. I want to monitor that. Dane Jackson reportedly was carted off from practice today. Corners has been something. I want to monitor that. Offensive line, Ike Ekwonu. I want to monitor that. How many things is a team going to be like, oh, we got to watch out for that. We got to watch out for that. We got to, before they start, their back muscles start to tighten a little bit. And that's where Dave Canales came in with a little friend he likes to call Bob Marley. And 3 little birds on his doorstep. I laughed at I laughed at that song every single time. Here's why. When I first moved to Hawaii, I played on like the local. I moved to Hawaii. I was going into 5th or 6th grade. 6th grade, I think. And I was joining the local Pop Warner team. Like we moved there on like a Thursday. First practice was that Saturday. So I'm on the island first time. I go to the Pop Warner team and I'm like, I want to play. And they go like, all right, you live in the area. Here's your entry fee. And this is a very, very Polynesian Pop Warner team, right? All those Samoans, Tongans, Fijians, Hawaiians that you see in the NFL, a whole bunch of them played in this Pop Warner League. And our first game was an away game. And one of our coaches, who's a cool 350 bills, right? He's a big dude, Hawaiian tattoos all over the place, really intense guy, gets up and he starts talking about how we're going to get fired up by this bus ride, right? And we're 6th graders. This is prime. I don't know if people remember this. The Under Armour commercials where they're always on the bus going, we must protect this house, and doing the pat, pat, clap, pat, 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 clap, clap. So I'm expecting this like big speech. He gives a speech and he talks about how he doesn't want anyone talking on the way to the Pop Warner game. I don't want any. We're going to wherever. We're going to Kailua, and I don't want anybody talking on the way. You listen to this music, you get locked in, and you get ready to play. I'm like, all right, I just moved from the mainland. I'm thinking like we're going to get some DMX. I'm thinking we're like, all right, what do you got for us? Maybe some rock? He goes, all right, eyes, mouths closed, let's play. He sat down, hit play, and it was that song Dave Canales was singing. It was Bob Marley, Every Little Thing's Going to Be Okay. And my head whipping around like this is going to get us jacked up to play?
Huh?
This is going to make me want to block and tackle, but it did. We listened to reggae, either like Bob Marley reggae or Hawaiian reggae the whole way there, and we were a pretty good team, so we won. But it was every time I hear that song, I laugh. Just the rug being pulled out from under me. I'm thinking we're gonna get like da-na-na, ma, da-na-na. Nope. 3 little birds. Biggest dude I've ever seen in my life, just jamming out. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Here is our very own Dennis Cox.
Just turn my mic on. Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Great news for all you homeowners out there. Mortgage rates are tanking. My friends at Loan Pronto have rates that start with a 4. This is the best rate in years, folks. Listen, if your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto has locked in folks recently at 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan, whether last week, last month, or even last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto right now. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now, folks. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in a matter of minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back with Hit It and Quit It. The biggest stories in sports lined up, knocked out of the park, and we move on. Coming up next.
Get ready for the ultimate football fan experience. Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker here for 99.9 The Fan. Join us at Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail in Raleigh this Friday, August 16th from 6 to 7:45 p.m. Enter for your chance to win a trip for two to Las Vegas to see Carolina take on Vegas with a 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino and a $400 food credit. Again, that's Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail this Friday. I'll see you there.
Hot summer days mean time on the water. Let Sound Station and Security make your time even better with our custom boat options. At Sound Station and Security, our Raleigh marine experts can help you for everything with your boat, from the perfect audio system to lights to video. We do it all custom, and we do it all from scratch. You're unique. Your boat should be too. Make sure everyone knows where the best party is this summer on the lake with Sound Station and Security. With 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
That's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get her? Juicy double patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow. Yeah, McDonald's don't miss. Yeah, order apple, the drive-through quick. That's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Cruising on a Wednesday, and we're getting ready for Hit It and Quit It, one of our favorite segments of the week. But before we do, Dennis tipped me off during that commercial break that there's a listener question that he wants to propose to the show. So what is the question, and what does it pertain to? I really have no more information.
So the question, this comes from our YouTube live chat stream. This one comes from Sources Say Media.
Sources Say Media.
You were 5 when DMX came out. How old are you? That's the question. Talking about your Pop Warner story.
Well, I'm 33. I wonder when did that was probably around that time. It was probably like a late 90s, right? I was born in 91. So Pop Warner, I was like 10, 11, something like that.
DMX's first album. Let's see. I'm pulling up his album list.
I'm
here.
thinking, shut them down, open up shop. Oh, that's the one. That's the one that was popping into my brain.
Yeah, like Rough Riders.
Yeah,
like,
Rough Riders anthem.
Yeah, it's Dark and Hell is Hot. That came out in May 1998.
Okay, yeah, so that would have been out for a little bit by that point in time. I guess you're hinting that I'm young, which I appreciate. Thank you. I have been told that my voice, before you see me or meet me in person, my voice is older and fatter than I am, is what I've been told.
Okay.
Which means I get a lot of weird backhanded compliments where, like, I meet someone in person and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, oh, I've heard you on the radio. Oh, thank you for listening. And then they just go right to, you're younger and thinner than I thought. And I'm like, I don't know whether to say thank you or you thought I was old and a bit husky. So I guess, yeah, you know exactly how old I am now. I was born in 91. 90s baby over here. Let's go ahead and hit it and quit it. But I do want to emphasize, I was a big fan of the hip-hop from before my time, okay? Just because I was born in the 90s doesn't mean I don't appreciate, a good 1993 Tupac album or something like that. Like,
As someone who was born in 86, I appreciate all the 90s hip-hop.
There you go. So do I. I appreciate a lot of the 80s hip-hop.
As do I.
Let's yeah. Old soul, kind of. Hit and quit it, starting with, let's get it out of the way, Panthers injury updates. Going into a joint practice tomorrow, I'm going to be curious to see what this team even looks like going into the joint practices against the Jets. David Newton, who covers the team for ESPN, tweeted out, according to the team, Dane Jackson, the corner, was carted off the field during today's practice. I don't believe we have an update on that one. He was banged up. Hamstring. Ugh.
Yes, this is what Dave Canales said in his post-game presser, or post-practice presser, I should say. Left practice, hamstring tightness during one-on-ones.
Dave Canales also, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but I think I have the notes down, a mild groin strain for Deontay Johnson.
Yes, so he's day-to-day, according to Dave Canales.
Damian Lewis, the second high-priced guard that they brought in free agency, was back at practice today, but not in 11-on-11 drills. Shaq Thompson, team leader, hurt most of last year. Linebacker was back and did participate in 11-on-11 drills.
Real quick note on Damian Lewis. He did miss some time with a personal matter as well, along with a shoulder injury. So the big thing Dave Canales said is working him back in terms of like conditioning and those kinds of things.
Andy Dalton was back doing individual work.
That he was.
And Xavier Legette did practice and did just about everything today. I know he made at least one play over the middle that everybody was very excited about.
Practiced in full. Now, they weren't wearing pads today, just helmets, but still practiced in full today.
And he's still dealing with the foot thing from last week. Going into joint practices tomorrow, which is going to be our first look at starters against other teams, there's a world where the skill positions are the exact same as last year. If they hold out Xavier Legette for the foot, which is very possible, like play him today, see how it reacts tomorrow, maybe not put him in full pads. And if they hold out Deontay Johnson for the mild groin strain, which they said he's day-to-day, then you're going into joint practices with Adam Thielen as your number one, Jonathan Mingo is your number two, Terrace Marshall is your number three.
And Amir Smith-Marset.
Amir Smith-Marset is your four. Chuba Hubbard as your one running back, because Jonathan Brooks still isn't playing and won't be for a month at least. You'd have Chuba Hubbard as your running back with Miles Sanders backing him up. Bryce Young as the quarterback. I suppose not having Hayden Hurst and instead having the combo of Tommy Tremble, but they might hold him out. So Jatavian Sanders. It's very similar to what happened I'm not saying that's the way it's going to be this year. I'm just saying our first look at them playing against a different team might look like the characters, like the actors are the exact same in the story, in the movie that we saw last year. That's all I'm saying. Which is not, I know that's not what Panthers fans want to hear, right? You want that refresher. You want, all it would take is like 2 or 3 catches from Deontay Johnson to have everybody go, see, this year will be different. But if Deontay Johnson is wearing a pack of ice on his groin and he's standing back with the rest of the coaches, he's not going to have 2 or 3 catches to make us feel like it's different. I almost wonder if the coaches aren't going to like lean towards playing Xavier Legette just to have something different.
Something different out there.
Just I don't wear the away jerseys. Like do something, make it look different. Put the black helmets on. They're kind of fresh already. That's tough. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Hey. Is Bryce Young going to play on Sunday or Saturday? That's a big question coming out of Panthers training camp.
First of all, we're not reporting on the correct answer because Dave Canales still hasn't decided. If you ask Dave Canales,
well, we actually have that audio. Here's Dave Canales talking about it today.
As we get these practices, we have an awesome opportunity tomorrow with the joint practice with the Jets, and so as we come out of these practices, the health of the whole group kind of determines who we can play and who we can't. So we'll probably again just kind of hold off for a couple of days before we make that decision.
Hold off on a couple of days. It's Wednesday. The game is Saturday. At this point, I don't think you'll see Bryce Young this weekend. It feels like we're following the same pattern of last time, right? We're still debating it. We want to see how practice goes. And then it'll be, actually, no, we're not going to. I disagree with it. I think you need to play your quarterback, especially one that needs great improvement. I don't think there's a better way to improve as a football player than playing as close to game-like situations as you possibly can. Seeing it, another team, game situation. But, my head hurts from bashing it into this wall. If they're not going to play him, we got to figure out what they need to do in joint practices tomorrow to make it feel as game-like as possible. They need to figure out what they can do other than play him in a preseason to get Bryce Young and that offense ready for week one.
I think a big question for Saturday is, let's say, for example, Damian Lewis is still working his way back.
Mm-hmm.
If another injury happens on your offensive line up front, you don't feel like you can properly protect him, then okay. Then, justify it in that regard. At least you kind of he's saving himself from saying, yes, he's going to play, then realize, I got to reel that back. I guess he's maybe giving himself that out in that case. But, a 4 or 5 starting offensive linemen are healthy and ready to go on Saturday, depending on how rigorous tomorrow is. At least get one series.
Yeah,
at least one.
There's no requirement to give him a 7-step drop, wait in the pocket for a double move deep ball where he's going to be exposed. You can just put him out there and run quick game, right? 1, 2, 3, get the ball out.
There's a little slant.
Yeah, bubbles. Get him into the. Do it. You gotta play football. I'm not going to get worked up about it because I did this for the preseason game 1, but you gotta play football. You can't put them in bubble wrap. I understand how catastrophic it would seem if Bryce Young dealt with some kind of injury. I get it. He's very valuable to your team right now. And the same is true for a few other guys. But it's football. If you don't want to worry about your guys getting hurt, we just watch the Olympics. There's a whole bunch of sports you can go be a part of, right? I don't think the archery people are worried about injuries that often. Right? A paper cut might hold them out for a day. I don't think that shooter guy from Turkey with the gun who finished in second, right? That guy looks like he doesn't get hurt ever. Go find one of those. Football players get hurt. It's a physical game. If you want to be the best at it, you got to play it. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Okay, so that's how it's going to be.
There's one more to-do list on the Carolina Hurricanes checklist of offseason things. They have Seth Jarvis, fan favorite, very good player, somebody we've talked about as a core member of the future of the Carolina Hurricanes. We know the Canes like him. We know he likes the Canes. There is a situation where he doesn't have a contract for next year yet, and they got to figure all of that out. So I just thought I'd ask Dennis. Dennis, anything new in the Seth Jarvis sweepstakes?
No.
Moving on. Let's quit that and let's hit this.
Daddy's always happy.
You know who's not happy?
Who's that?
Vikings fans, because all their players keep getting injured. J.J. McCarthy, their first-round pick quarterback out of Michigan, torn meniscus, had it repaired today, out for the season.
Yeah,
it kind of came out of nowhere.
It was exactly. It was kind of like a double, like a jab followed by a roundhouse, because he was hurt and they established it was something with the meniscus, and they said until we get in there for the surgery, we're not going to know the severity of the reconstruction. So it was either going to be not a super bad like meniscus injury, and he was going to be back in 4 to 6 weeks.
It could be like clean it up, or is it an actual repair?
Or it was going to be the minor versus major version. And if it was the major version, he's out for the year. So Vikings fans were like, ooh, he's hurt, but we have hope. Ooh, we lost that hope. And then today, Jordan Addison, their number 2 wide receiver, carted off from practice. They're worried about a knee injury. And it's like, that's a jab followed by a roundhouse followed by like UFC ground and pound. Like it's you're getting beat up pretty good. But speaking, like going back, now I'm going to mesh the last 2 hit it and quit it conversations. If you're somebody that's looking at J.J. McCarthy's injury and saying that's why you don't play your quarterback in the preseason, because reportedly this injury did happen in the first preseason game. We are unaware of when. His last play, he looked healthy. He was in a clean pocket. He threw a touchdown. And then he woke up the next day with soreness. Turned out the meniscus had the injury at some point in the game. But if you're looking at it and saying, that's why you don't play your quarterback, we don't do that with anything else. You don't see a guy get hurt in practice and go, that's why you don't practice.
One of their starting corners from Minnesota got hurt towards ACL first day of practice.
And you didn't hear anyone going, that's why you don't start practicing. Like, think of a preseason game as another practice. It's more than that. It's closer to a game, more of a dress rehearsal. But if you think about it like a practice, you don't go like, all right, he got hurt in a preseason game, that's why we don't practice. Like, no. Same way if you tear your pec bench pressing in the offseason, you don't go, never working out again. It's like, well, you need to be strong for a game to play in the NFL. Quarterbacks need to be prepared in a game to play in the NFL. J.J. McCarthy was getting prepared and he got hurt. It's a risk of the business. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Yeah, buddy. We just got one in the boat.
Is that one of the boat that you're going to reel in? Is it going to be Brandon Ayuk? Because apparently he still hasn't been traded from the San Francisco 49ers to the Pittsburgh Steelers or, well, any other team for that matter. Because why?
The wide receiver market makes no sense to me.
It's crazy right now, especially because the 49ers and the Steelers have agreed to parameters for a trade. And I'm assuming that the agent has discussed with the Steelers what a contract would look like. I'm assuming they're just waiting for Brandon Ayuk to say, yeah.
Or Brandon Ayuk wants more money, and then he'll say
that too.
The reason it makes no sense to me is because it's like teams that want a receiver also don't want a receiver, if that makes any sense. The Steelers just traded Deontay Johnson for scraps. Now they're willing to give up a whole bunch of money for Brandon Ayuk. And I'm not saying Ayuk isn't better than Deontay Johnson. I think he is. But it just seems like you had a much lower cost, lower friction solution already. And now, do you know what you're hearing a lot from the San Francisco 49ers beat reporters?
They're trying to work on a new deal. Right?
And they're working on a new deal, but also they don't want to trade Brandon Ayuk without getting a wide receiver in return.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going like, well, if you want a wide receiver, you have one. He was second team All-Pro last year. And you drafted one in the first round in Ricky Pearsall.
Who's hurt?
Yeah, Hammies go quiet. They don't go away. I'm looking at the wide receiver market this offseason. I'm going, CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase can't get a deal. CeeDee Lamb hasn't been in practice for the Cowboys. Jamar Chase for the Bengals hasn't practiced at practice. He's been at them up until their most recent practice, which he was AWOL. Like there's and then on the other side, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both got massive deals this offseason. And Justin Jefferson broke the bank. And Tyreek Hill broke the bank. It's like certain guys are just getting, Scrooge McDuck piles of money. They're going to go swimming in it. And then other guys can't get a deal at all. Some teams don't want this wide receiver but want another wide receiver to fill the exact role that the last wide receiver had. It's I don't think anybody knows which way's up. And it actually makes me even more thankful for the Panthers making that Deontay Johnson trade when they did. They had a massive need at wide receiver, and if they were trying to navigate the market as it stands now, I don't think they'd like that very much. Instead, they have Deontay Johnson. They know what they have, but he is dealing with a groin injury.
I'm wondering if teams are going to see the amount of money that's going out to these top-end wideouts, and you say, you know what? Wide receivers, as they're coming to the NFL, and you know I talked about this earlier this week, are more NFL ready than ever. It's like, why would I continue to why would I sign these guys to massive deals when I can just keep cranking out draft picks every year and just see which ones stick for the next 4 years, maybe for 5, and then just keep them moving.
I'm with you, and I think this is one of those deals that I think, if I ever became an NFL GM, not going to happen, but let's go hypothetical.
You got Madden. You can do it that way.
If I did, I would go in with so many thoughts like that, saying I'm never going to pay a wide receiver. I'm just going to keep drafting them. They're so good coming out of coming out of college. I can get 2, 3 for the price of one, and blah 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 blah. But then when you have a CeeDee Lamb on your team, and you're staring down the barrel of letting him walk, I'm going to go in theory, I like what I was saying 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can replace CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or whoever I don't know if I have another guy that can go do what he does, even if I really do name your wide receiver out of the draft. Even if I really do Marvin Harrison Jr. It's that's a 4th-round pick too.
Unless you're able to flip them. That's the thing. Unless you're able to flip them for a high pick and something like that, you get something in return, then guess what? I have more chances to hit.
Yeah, I mean that's the GMing of it all. I've had that thought about quarterbacks. I'm draft a quarterback every year.
Mm-hmm.
Every single year, draft him, and then just let him. If whichever one works out, trade for 1st-round picks, and then those are your quarterback picks, and you just keep that cycle going. You always have a quarterback on a rookie contract. But I know that's not the right way to do it. And I know I wouldn't be able to pull the trigger, but that is an awesome theory.
I'd much rather pay my offensive line really, really well. Because if I keep my quarterback upright, and if I know I got skill guys that are inexpensive on the outside, or maybe you get the Adam Thielen, all right, as my number 3 veteran guy, not expensive.
I'm with you until my offensive coordinator comes up and says, "This would be a lot easier with Jamar Chase."
Yeah, well, there's that, I guess.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I just think it's one of those things where it's if I won the lottery, I'd give $100 million to charity. I have no problem saying that. I'm sure it's more difficult to do once you win the lottery, right?
Yeah, but my house is going to look nice.
And I'd like to still think I would, but you never know till you're in those seats. There's a lot of things I think I would do if I were a GM, but I think there's a lot of smart guys that are sitting in GM chairs that maybe go in with those same ideas and then come out actually, I used my 1st-round pick on a quarterback and I drafted offensive line and receivers, and you did everything that everybody else does. I tried to pay my guys and my edge rushers. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Are you stepping to me right now?
I'll tell you who is stepping to each other right now. World record holders. This is a little this should actually be something that is fun to watch. Olympians that gained a little bit of fame during the Olympics that are now trying to extend that fame, right? Remember Ryan Lochte had a reality show after the Olympics, and suddenly he was trying to stick around. The world record holders in the pole vault and 400-meter hurdles, that is Mondo Duplantis and Karsten Warholm, right? Mondo Duplantis is the world record holder in the pole vault. Karsten Warholm is the world record holder in the 400-meter hurdles. Are going to get together at the next Diamond League meet, which is the next it's the professional track and field. I don't know. They make more money there than they used to at other races. The Diamond League puts them together. They're all over the world, mostly in Europe. They're going to get together at the next Diamond League, and before it starts, they're going to race a 100-meter dash. Pole vaulter against 400-meter hurdler, 100-meter dash. Which do you think is going to win? I think, first of all, it's funny, right? And I'm now thinking of other Olympians that can get together and compete in other Olympic sports. Can we get one of the men's basketball champions and one of the women's soccer gold medalists and see who can do the best butterfly swim? Like, can we get the archery and the rowers and see who can long jump? Like, I want to see which the best athlete is. Matter of fact, speaking of ACC legends, I think it was ESPN the magazine. Remember ESPN the magazine? You used to get a fleece every time you re-upped your subscription.
Oh yeah, I'm still owed one of those fleeces, but that's fine.
There was I think it was ESPN did an article with Stanford, ACC legends. So this was Stanford like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where they did like push-ups, sit-ups, sprint, mile, pull-ups. They did like a big athletic kind of decathlon without being the actual decathlon, and put all of this Stanford different sports to the test. Football, basketball, baseball, because Stanford had like 100 sports or whatever they offered at the time. Do you know what was the overwhelming number one? Swimming.
I believe it.
Swimmers were just like,
I believe it.
How many pull-ups you need?
Got you.
How many sit-ups? What do you need? You need a mile? Like they did everything. And, they didn't win every individual event, obviously. Like the bench press was won by the football player, but they lost the mile. Like that kind of stuff went on. So I would like to see, like, get all of the United States gold medalists together and somehow put them through a, like, total so we can pick, like, the best athletes amongst the gold medalists. I think it would be fun to watch. I don't think LeBron would really be down for, like, all right, let me go through this rigorous athletic test during my only downtime. But, hey, do it for America.
Real quick, one more thing.
One more. Breaking news?
For all the UNC basketball fans out there. UNC adds another to their roster for the coming year. Georgia Tech transfer Tyjon Claude announced his commitment to the Tar Heels today. 6'7", 226 pounds, 5-year player. Entered the transfer portal back in April, but received news from the NCAA just this past week that he'd be granted a waiver to be eligible to play in 24-25, hence why he's a late addition. But averaged about just under 5 points, just over 5 rebounds in 32 games last year for the Yellow Jackets.
He has lived a life in college basketball. Started his career in 2019 at Morehead State, Western Carolina, was at Georgia Tech. Now he's going to finish at UNC. I mean, that's getting the tour of the East Coast. Depth piece. 6'8", bring some size.
From Goldsboro?
No, even better. That is kind of a cool finish to your college career. Get to return to your area. Play for one of the flagships, one of the biggest brands in college basketball. That's pretty cool.
So he missed, I guess, for the better part of 2 seasons at Morehead State due to an ACL injury. So that's probably the reason why he was applying for that waiver.
Bouncing around. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Quick update. We talked about Jordan Addison. Matthew Collar, Jordan Addison being the former first-round pick of the Vikings, one of their wide receivers. Matthew Collar, who is covers Vikings beat reporter for Purple Insider, tweeted out, update on Jordan Addison, injured his ankle, unlikely to practice tomorrow, but Kevin O'Connell doesn't believe it to be serious. I think he's going to be okay. Kevin O'Connell, who's the Vikings head coach, said after practice. So Vikings fans, the J.J. McCarthy news might have gotten you down. A little bit of silver lining here. Maybe Jordan Addison isn't out too long.
Good for them.
They needed some kind of pick-me-up, so I thought I'd pass that along. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, I'm Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, and yes, that includes Gordon Miller, my buddy, home of the no-cost loan. And, it's funny with markets changing and people scrambling and interest rates being a little bit unpredictable recently, you're seeing people scramble, and once they get settled, I'm talking about other lenders, once they get settled, they're ending up talking about a lot of the things that Miller Lending has been talking about for a long time, right? Don't let them scramble into something new that they're not used to doing when you can talk to Miller Lending and get something like the no closing cost loan that they've mastered. Gordon's been doing it since 1987. The Miller Lending's been doing it since they first arrived in this market. What it does is it gives you the ability to be flexible as rates rise and fall, right? You can lock in a rate right now, get your mortgage, pay no closing costs out of your pockets, get your interest rate, and then tomorrow, right, Rates go up, cool. I got mine yesterday. Rates go down, let me refinance. No closing costs, nothing out of my pocket. Let me get that rate lower, and it's really, nothing to me, right? That's what they're letting you do. That's the appeal of the no closing cost loan. Instead of trying to wait and time the market perfectly, this is the lowest it's going to be, and then you get mad when it goes down. Just sit there and kind of play the field. Be flexible. Adapt. Give them a call. They can explain more over at Miller Lending. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I have more evidence that we should be worried about Drake May's development in New England based on what New England is doing. We're going to stick around is what I'm trying to say here. Stick around for more next.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks,
"Want to test drive the Rogue?"
I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra.
Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you...
I hate to say, they got some explaining to do. The Patriots are really, really, really making me question their ability to develop a quarterback. Drake Maye is in a situation where he's going to be judged how he plays the next 2 years. And just like we saw with Bryce Young, the things that are outside of his control don't appear to be setting him up for success. So if Drake Maye becomes the next big thing, I think it's going to be despite a lot of what the Patriots have done to set him up for success, or more importantly, to not set him up for success. Now, full disclosure, I have Drake Maye on one of my fantasy teams. So the only reason I say that is to say, so I get alerts on certain things when it comes to the Patriots, right? I'm following along with a player who is on my team, as many of you do, right? You got to get a player on your squad, all of a sudden you're more connected. Yesterday's practice reports were this is the only way I can describe them, right? This is just tweets coming through from beat reporters. You know, like in a high school sports movie where they need to, in like 2 minutes or less, show you that the season is going down the drain. So they just put on some sad music and then show a montage of newspaper articles that's like, home team loses by 47. The local star throws 3 interceptions. Home team beaten by rival. And they just just sad music, showing all the newspaper articles. There might be a voiceover from like an announcer. And that's going to do it. The home team loses by 35. Season's really hanging by a thread now. Like, that's what it felt like refreshing my Twitter yesterday. I'd refresh my Twitter and it popped up. Mark Daniels of Mass Live. Drake Maye was sacked 5 times on his last 6 dropbacks to end practice. Ooh, that's no good. Refresh. Evan Lazar of Patriots.com. Tough hurry-up drive for Drake May's offense. May was sacked 3 of 4 plays and threw incomplete on 4th. Line struggles continue. May didn't have much of a chance. Refresh. Andrew Ginden, Patriots beat reporter. Drake Maye looked really solid early on in practice, but the defensive pressure from the Eagles has been too much on his offensive line the last few series. By the way, all this was going on during joint practices between the Patriots and the Eagles. All right, one more refresh. Looking for some good news. Taylor Kyles, another Pats beats reporter. Drake Maye would have been sacked instantly on his first drop back of this period. That's as complimentary as you can get to a quarterback that pretty much can't even throw a pass. They're going, he's looked good, didn't have a chance. Sacked instantly. Drake Maye is getting the full Bryce Young treatment, which is we're going to judge you against every other top pick quarterback without acknowledging that you are not being given the same tools or the same support that a lot of those other quarterbacks have been given. I talk about it all the time. If you are drafted in the top 3 of the same draft of someone in your position, congratulations, you're locked for life. Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, locked for life. Or even like if you're traded for, right? Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, top 4 picks, locked for life, compared forever. Drake Maye is going to be compared to Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels this offseason. This season. And in the next few, and for life. The Bears have a really good offense. They have good offensive line, great wide receivers, pretty good running back. Good tight end. The Patriots have an offensive line that can't even hold up for one period of, but he was running with the 2s for a lot of it, but can't even hold up for one period against the Eagles. They have a wide receiver that can best be described as the best they could do after they were turned down by multiple big-name wide receivers, including Brandon Ayuk and Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins, who have all in the last few years taken visits or been very, very linked to the Patriots. Their running back can best be described as good at checkdowns, Ramondre Stevenson. Now, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. UNC fans, you hope it really doesn't matter. You hope Drake Maye is one of those unique competitors who are inevitable. Who's like, yeah, I don't have a good offensive line. I'm still going to be great. There's not many of those, but the ones that are, I believe, are truly inevitable, right? When people hit me with like, well, what if Michael Jordan went to the Trailblazers? I was like, he probably would have won 6 championships with the Trailblazers. Like it's maybe 8. Like Michael Jordan was going to be great regardless. You hope Drake Maye is that. It's a big hope. Don't get me wrong. I know that's lofty. And the irony of it is, The Athletic put out an article earlier this week, came out I think yesterday, titled From Driveway, King of the Court, to Patriots Future, Drake Maye was built to compete. And it was an entire article, fluff about all the ways Drake Maye growing up showed that eye of the tiger, that I'm never going to be denied. I am the most competitive person in the world. From the driveway competing against his brothers in basketball, who are his older brothers, up through, I appreciated a story they told about Drake, after his freshman year, switched high schools from Huff out there in the Charlotte area to Myers Park because he was buried on the depth chart, went to Myers Park, and immediately started lobbying to play his old high school. Coach said, no, they're good. We already have a tough schedule. No. Kept working. Eventually, his junior year, he played against his old high school, and he threw 6 touchdowns and ran for another in that game. Like, good on you, right? Grudge holding, competitive. Those are the stories that get blown to much bigger proportions once you become like a NBA or an NFL champion, right? You hope that's the case, because what the Panthers are doing, playing him 7 snaps in the first preseason game, not getting him even reps that he can benefit from in practice and joint practices because he's being sacked before he can even get through his drop, drafting Joe Milton and then allowing Joe Milton to show sparks. So all the fans are now clamoring for Joe Milton over Drake Maye, which is ridiculous. But we did have a multiple people on our YouTube comments making that exact argument, and we talked about it during Feedback Frenzy yesterday. Like, all of it is just a textbook way to not develop a quarterback appropriately. If Drake Maye becomes super-duper franchise MVP quarterback, it's not because of the way they developed him. It's because he overcame the way they've developed him early on. And please don't make me refresh my my Twitter feed about it one more time, because every time I did, I got more sad yesterday. So I'm not going to do it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group, and, of course, that includes Coach Pete. Coach Pete is a fan of a good analogy, as am I. And if there's one thing my good friend Coach Pete hates, it's financial termites. Financial termites is the things in your account that are eating away at your money, and you might not even feel it. When it comes to your retirement account, right, you may not know that the structure is not as strong as you thought because these financial termites are getting in there. We're talking about fees. We're talking about commissions. We're talking about risk that you don't know you're exposed to. Those are financial termites in your retirement account. And Coach Pete, well, he works tirelessly to help you exterminate and eliminate them from your plan. Coach Pete can help you regain control of your foundation, make sure it's sturdy for retirement, and he wants to see you to and through a worry-free retirement, not just getting to retirement, but all the way through. You want to make sure that money's not running out. There are 22 steps that go along with their process of identifying your unique financial composition, and they help you find the best way to navigate your journey along the way to, and as I said, through retirement. Coach Pete is committed to helping you retire like a champion. Here's another good analogy: getting you through the financial red zone, over the goal line, and into that retirement end zone. Call 800-691-3215 and let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, and you'll be hooked up with the complete and total retirement plan and a copy of one of his best-selling books. Again, the number to call, 800-691-3215. Just let them know you heard about it from me. Or you can text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's T-I-M. Text it to 600-700. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the 5 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway and the starting 5. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
Does the ACC need their own Paul Feinbaum? Not really. You know what the ACC really needs? They need NC State to beat Tennessee. They need North Carolina to beat Minnesota. They need Clemson to be good against Georgia. Win? I don't know, man. Georgia's a brick wall. But look the part. And Miami? Beat Florida. That's what the ACC needs. Win some of these games.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Did your mobile provider just increase their prices again? Switch to Spectrum Mobile, the nation's fastest growing mobile provider. With Spectrum Mobile, you get unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G. Switching to Spectrum Mobile has never been easier. We'll pay off your phone balance up to $2,500. Stop dealing with price hikes from your cell phone company. Get Spectrum Mobile. Visit spectrum.com/it-pays-to-switch for full details. Offer subject to change. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Where'd y'all go last week?
Well, we've been watching our budget.
So no going out?
Oh yeah, we're going out, just hitting all the specials. First, we hit the House of Hops. That's Jerome's favorite spot. Big savings on Monday and Wednesdays. Mix and match craft beer and 25% off on to-go growlers. Oh, it's a great place to relax.
You know, the Mix has some good specials and they're across the street.
You have to check out their wine tastings once a month and their live music schedule, plus $5 draft beer on Thursdays. Then Saturday, it's salt and lime brunch, and Monday they have $5 margaritas.
Wait, what about Sharky's?
Oh, sweetie, you know Sharky's is special all the time.
So you're just going in a circle. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharky's. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharky's. Sounds like a vicious cycle.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a vicious cycle. More like a wonderful cycle.
Yeah, sounds like a cycle I need to be riding.
House of Hops, the Mix, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Definitely a cycle you should be riding. Hope to see you soon.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WREL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. A nice little break in the humidity out there today. It's a pretty day, and it's going to be a nice night tonight. We'll have partly cloudy skies with a low temperature of 65. It's mostly sunny to partly cloudy on Thursday, and a warm afternoon with a high of 88.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 242 points today to 40,008. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
Before the starting five comes your way, we have our final fan football flyaway keyword of the day. So if you do not text in the keyword I'm about to give you before 6 o'clock, you'll have to wait until tomorrow at noon during the Adam Gold Show to get another shot at it. It is time for our 5 o'clock word in our fan football flyaway, sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, Newcomb, as well as Newcomb and Company. The word for this hour, that'll be good until 6 o'clock. Coach. C-O-A-C-H. Coach. This hour's word is coach. Text coach to 919-860-5326 before 6 o'clock to enter for this hour's chance to win a trip for two to Las Vegas, where you'll get the flights, the room, you get the whole kit and caboodle, And you get to see Carolina play football against the Silver and Black in September. Again, this hour's word is coach, C-O-A-C-H. Text it in to 919-860-5326 before 6 o'clock. And then listen in for another keyword coming up tomorrow during the Adam Gold Show in the noon hour and every hour tomorrow from noon until 6 once again. Fan Football Flyaway. We usually give away great prizes. I get really upset that we're ineligible for a trip for 2 to Vegas. Catch a game. If it's something you're into, maybe you head down and play the games a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Enjoy some food.
Where I'm staying is covered.
Where you're staying is covered. Flight. You even get some food vouchers, I believe.
Yeah.
There's some. If you're not, all you have to do is text in a word.
That's it.
If you're not doing that once an hour, I mean, I can't help you. We can't make this any easier for you. Text in coach, C-O-A-C-H, to 919-860-5326 before 6 o'clock. I'm not asking you to, carry water over hills back to the trough for the horses. I'm just asking you to text in a word.
If you want to do that, that's fine, but you still need to text in the word.
That's also true. If you want to get a workout in, you can go nuts. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's 5 o'clock. Let's get to the starting five, starting with number 5. It was revealed today, and Dennis, I know you have the exact details. Duke basketball will be playing Illinois at Madison Square Garden this season, which keeps up some streaks, keeps up some reputation, and is another high-profile move for Duke.
Yeah, February 27th at Madison Square Garden. This will be according to Brian Murphy, who wrote up an article on WREL Sports Fan, the 11th time in the last 12 years that Duke will be playing at least one game at MSG, and I think 21 of the last 23 years they will have played a game at Madison Square Garden.
And we can probably deduce that if it's 11 out of 12 and 23 out of 24, whatever you just said, the
21 out of 23.
21 out of there's probably some COVID effects on one of those absences. I think it is the easiest decision in scheduling in the world that Duke keeps going to Madison Square Garden.
It's the 60th time they'll be playing at MSG. 60th.
And it's like the joke is that it's Cameron North.
Home away from home.
That's such a good joke for Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a recruiting tool. It's a brand builder. It's an atmosphere that, like, you really can't mimic. They were given, like, when Coach K retired, they gave him, like, wine from the MSG cellar or something like that. They're like, there's a connection there that is valuable to the program, and they should not let that go.
Of the 59 times they've played at MSG, Duke has won 41.
And I don't think, like, I don't know where every Duke player comes from, but like Jay Williams is from New Jersey, Kyrie is from New Jersey. Like, there's something to be said for raising your profile in a pretty talent-rich area of the country when it comes to hooping. So that's one thing. The other side of it is Illinois, right? That's not a small, like, that's a big, if you want to mimic like tournament-style games, you go to a venue that's neutral, even though it's not really, and you play against a good team, a good program with a history of success recently, and that's what they're doing. Also, and I'll say this again and again and again, because it's something that I think is great just for sports in general, don't be afraid of the cool venues. I love an outdoor hockey game. I want an NBA team to play in Cameron or the Dean Dome. I want an NBA team to play in like Kansas, whatever it's. I'm blanking on
Allen Fieldhouse.
Allen Fieldhouse.
Or Rupp Arena in Kentucky.
I wanted to call it Jayhawk Fieldhouse for some reason.
Yeah, might as well be.
Like, I want that. I want a NFL game to play in the LA Coliseum. I just think like cool venues that are a little different make it a thing. I like that the NFL is going to, like, Brazil on the Friday to open the season. Do something different, right? The game is the game. You can put 94 feet in any gym. I want to see it happen. That's why I like NC State when they go to Reynolds for their throwback game. The men go to Reynolds for their throwback game every year. I like that. I'm not saying you got to do every game, but an appropriate mix-up, like, I like it. If MSG is your appropriate mix-up, that's a pretty good appropriate mix-up. That was number 5. Let's get to number 4.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
We're going to play Dave Canales, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, fulfilling his rookie duties. What does that mean? In the NFL, there's kind of a bunch of unwritten rules. One of them is during training camp your rookie year, you got to sing. It used to be fight songs. Then you were doing skits. Now it just seems to have fallen into you can sing anything. You have to walk down in front of the team during a team meeting, everyone watching. They've also added in you have to mention your signing bonus, where you say, like, I saw Caleb Williams signing bonus, $25.5 million. Most guys are like, Joe Schmo, signing bonus, $25,000. But you have to say your signing bonus, and you have to sing a song, and you get judged based on how well you do, how much energy you put in, how funny it is. But usually it is reserved for players. Dave Canales, head coach of the Panthers, I guess looked around and said, hey, I'm a rookie too. I'm a first-time head coach, so I should participate. And this is what he did at the Panthers team meeting.
I'm Dave Canales. I'm the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. No signing bonus. Here we go. All right, got it. Rise up this morning. Okay. Smile at the rising sun. 3 little birds upon my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Somebody sing now. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
It's good fun. He did quickly go to the karaoke move when you're really embarrassed. Everybody sing. Everybody sing that. You sing. Right? That's the karaoke move when I don't want anyone to hear my voice, so everybody sing. Interesting song choice for the fact of he's the most optimistic person on the planet, so he sang the song where the chorus tells you don't worry about a thing because every little thing is going to be all right. That is right down Main Street for old Dave Canales. Actually, Dennis, let me see if we can come up with this on the spot.
Okay.
What would have been the least predictable song for Dave Canales to sing if he would have got up there and just did the ultimate, like, curveball?
Ooh, an ultimate curveball.
Because that is like that. If his personality was a song, it would be that song, 3 Little Birds by Bob Marley. Like, that's just is what it is. So if he got up there, like, would it be like, I don't know, one where like Eminem rapped about like the murder of his ex-wife or something like that?
I would say like a Travis Scott song.
Yeah,
starts doing like a butterfly effect. Something along those lines. The team would have been like, wait, what is happening here? What is going on?
Or what's the...
Starts doing Fiend.
The Busta Rhymes song where it's like, get away, and like, and he just went full, the entire thing, word for word. What if he went up there and did Hit 'Em Up by Tupac?
Yeah, there you go. What if he starts doing like Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift?
That's the other way to go. What if he went down there and hit like... Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears.
People are like, what is happening here?
I don't know. The team might love it.
They would 100% absolutely love it. And I think that's also one of the fun things as a coach. And I've done this before when we've had team like skits or things along those lines when I was coaching, is that us as coaches, we did them too. Just because, hey, you know what? We're doing this with you guys because, yeah, we are a team. We're part of it too. Let's all have fun and do this thing together.
In college, we didn't sing. We had to do a rookie skit or a freshman skit, which was always stupid. But we had to do what we called introductions, where you got paired with an older kid, like a junior or senior.
Okay.
And you had to go up there and tell 3 facts about each other. but it was pretty much just a roast. You would just go up there and roast the upperclassmen.
Oh, okay.
And if it was funny enough, you got applause. If it wasn't, you got booed. And then they would roast you. And it was, I don't know, I would have rather have just sung. It was much more difficult coming up with like funny roast jokes about somebody you met like 2.5 weeks ago than it would be to come up with, you know, I can sing Backstreet Boys and make everybody laugh. Like, just get in, get out, get on with life. But those things, there's weird team building. From the outside, they look foolish, but I do think they're important.
Oh, they're fun.
That's number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
CBS Sports did something they called Candid Coaches, which is college basketball. They surveyed anonymously 100 head coaches. CBS. 100. That's a lot. I think they're kind of going off of the Family Feud thing. 100 anonymous basketball coaches surveyed, and
survey says.
And the two main questions they asked a bunch of questions, but the two main ones they asked are who's going to be the best team in college basketball this year and who's going to be the best player in college basketball this year. Survey says Cooper Flagg chosen as the best player in the country by the anonymous coaches. He hasn't played any college basketball yet. He's an incoming freshman for Duke, number 1 recruit in the country. But before UNC fans get all up into a kerfuffle, RJ Davis, 4th on the list. And when I tell you there was a tier break after 4th, the top 4 names had, and it was Sears from Alabama, Dickinson from Kansas, Cooper Flagg 1st, RJ Davis 4th. They had 90% of the vote were just those 4 guys. That's pretty unanimous.
Yeah.
So those are the like preemptive 4 All-American favorites for this upcoming basketball season. The other question of who is the best team, Duke came in at 4th, which is interesting because a lot of the rankings and everything have dropped them down to the bottom half of the top 10. UNC was in the also receiving votes category, which puts them between 5th and 8th. Duke 4th, Kansas was up there, Houston was up there. Oh my gosh, Baylor was also receiving votes. Kansas was 1st. Like those were the UConn was in the top 5 as well. It's just it's interesting to hear the coaches do it, right? Because I've said this before. Sometimes I question. There are certain media members that I very much respect, and I'm not going to name names because that would be mean. There are certain media members that I seek out their opinions because I believe them and I trust them and I know they know what they're talking about. Then there are certain media members that I hear, I'm like, oh, okay, you just read that article because you're regurgitating it and taking theirs. Mm-hmm. Or you're going, you're trying to talk out of both sides of your mouth, right? I think they're pro-ready, ready to make the leap. They're a great team who also has to worry about their inexperience, and they could suffer a couple trap games. And I'm like, what? That's saying, they're good. They're 6'8". No, they're 6'9", but then they're also 5'11". It just doesn't work. So hearing the coaches, I would trust every Division I basketball coach. You don't get to that point without knowing something about basketball. Might not be the best, but you know something. So it's interesting to see it come from their votes rather than somewhere else. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us.
ESPN put out their college football All-American team. There's one from the Triangle, first team running back Omarion Hampton, UNC. Not much to say there. He's really good. They recognized it. They put him on the list.
That's just also the sun came up. That's it falls in that category.
It does.
He's that great.
The more interesting part about it is, thank goodness for special teams, or else the ACC would be nearly non-existent. There's Omarion Hampton at running back. There's 2 defensive players, a defensive tackle and a linebacker from Clemson. 1 first team, Barrett Carter first team. The defensive tackle second team from Clemson. And that's it for non-special teams. Florida State's punters first team, Miami's kickers second team, and that's it. If I thought that there was any room for more chips on the shoulder of the ACC, I would say this would put one there. But like at this point, it would be. And Dennis, I don't know if this was this way for you. You ever walk into it? Usually guys, but I guess it could be the ladies as well. Like a guy's college apartment, and the trash is by the door, and it's so full that you're now playing the Jenga game, like seeing if you can balance one more Gatorade bottle.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 4 feet above the top of the trash can now.
It's like my recycling right now.
And you're trying to balance it. Like, I think that's what it would be like to try to put another chip on the shoulder of the ACC right now. It's like, hey, man, the ESPN didn't give you many All-Americans. And they're like, yeah, we also had our undefeated conference champion not make the college football playoff last year. And we also had, this, that, and the other, like everything that's happened. And we also have 2 of our own actively suing us to get out of the conference. And we also have the Big 12 commissioner just throwing very, very thinly veiled shots at our conference. And we also have, it's like, yeah, we don't need the motivation. But if they did, this could work. Because I do think the ACC was slighted a bit. Who should come off the list? That's going to take more time to debate, right? Because if you put someone on the list from the ACC, someone has to come off. But there's got to be more than 3 position players that deserve to be first or second team from a conference that has, according to the AP, 7 of the top 29 teams in the country. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. Dennis, what is the latest on Panthers injuries? Because earlier today I tried to be the one to run them down through my notes. I got like 3 of them a little off. So what are we dealing with? We have what's Deontay Johnson?
So Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver, mild groin strain, didn't practice today, day-to-day, according to Dave Canales. Dane Jackson, defensive back, left practice with a hamstring injury, hamstring tightness during one-on-ones today. Damian Lewis, their offensive lineman that they signed this offseason, one of their 2 big guard signings on the offensive line. He's working back from a shoulder injury. He was back at practice today. Also was missed some time due to a personal matter. So he's building up his conditioning and getting back up to speed. On the positive side of things, Xavier Legette practiced in full today. He's been dealt with that foot injury, had the hamstring over the summer. So good news on that regard. Also, Shaq Thompson also can practice in full today as well, full participant in practice. To be determined how much these guys play tomorrow in their joint practice, how much they participate, but the fact that they were going full today, again, no pads, but seeing him out there on the field is a good thing. Also, Andy Dalton did come back to practice, just did individual work. He's working his way back from the quad injury. Tommy Tremble also working his way back into things with his hamstring injury as well. So a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to overreact because every team is dealing with injuries at this point in the season. It's a contact sport. You've been practicing, most days out of the week now for a handful of weeks, few weeks. So there's going to be injuries, and there's always someone that has it worse than you. But I also hate that person when you're talking about your team, right? If you're a Panthers fan and you're sitting here going, man, Deontay Johnson, I really wanted him to be full steam ahead for joint practices, and oh no, Dane Jackson's a little banged up. Corner is not a position that we can afford an injury. I don't like the person in the group that goes like, well, J.J. McCarthy got hurt for Minnesota. You could be worse. It's like, yeah, I know it could be worse. I just still don't like these injuries on my team. I'm not saying this is the worst injury spell that anyone has ever dealt with ever. I'm just saying we haven't even gotten to see Deontay Johnson line up against another team yet. And already he's dealing with a slight groin tweak and might not be ready to go in time for tomorrow or in time for the weekend. And obviously you have to prioritize when it comes to injuries, week 1 over now. And the same with Dane Jackson, right? Like, I want to see Evero's defense with the guys he brought in, right? Because Evero brought in a whole bunch of guys that had played with him before. Dan Morgan brought in some guys that he had some experience with. Like, I want to see what this defense looks like. And if Dane Jackson isn't out there, that's not what this defense looks like at full strength. Now, maybe that means we get more Shao Smith-Wade, who's a rookie 5th-round pick, who's I believe been training as that kind of nickel corner.
On the inside with Troy Hill.
So that'll pique my fancy a little bit.
Sure.
Like, that'll pique my interest. I want to see how he does, especially if the Packers the Jets. Aaron Rodgers got me confused. If the Jets in the joint practices are going to be moving around Garrett Wilson like I think they are, he could be in the slot. And, that's Shao Smith-Wade being thrown into the deep end pretty darn quick. Like these joint practices are fun. You learn a lot. You're going to see, more than you've seen in recent practices. And I would have rather had more of the skill positions on offense and defense as close to 100% as possible. But I understand that's probably unlikely.
But it is going to be nice to see the first unit guys on both sides of the ball, or at least most of them, playing somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Really going to be the first time we actually get that.
Yep. And this is going to sound stupid. The stakes raise a little bit, right? That they actually don't, because you give up a touchdown to the Jets in training camp. Nobody records that, right? Or they do literally like on film. But I'm saying, like, that's not going to go on your stats. It's not like when you're negotiating your next contract, you're going to go, and remember, in that Thursday joint practice, I had 2 interceptions, and that's why I should be the highest paid corner in the league. Like, it's not going to work like that. But ask Forbes, the second-year corner for Washington, how fun last week was. I guarantee you it wasn't. He was going up against the Jets wide receivers in joint practices, and they were attacking him, right? Aaron Rodgers threw a whole bunch of touchdowns over Forbes, and you can go find him on Twitter. It wasn't fun. It was Malachi Corley running by him. It was Alan Lazard running by him. It was Garrett Wilson running by him, and you don't want to be the one on the back end of all those highlights. I always make the joke during NFL draft week where it's like, yeah, I want my like, if you're a state fan, I'm just picking one. Yeah, I want my state players to be drafted. I also have a decent part of me that doesn't want to be in all the highlights when other teams' guys get drafted, right? It's always a bummer when they're like, coming out of the ACC, Pitt wide receiver so-and-so gets drafted, and then they cut to the highlights, and it's like, oh, man, that's a Carter Finley, isn't it? Like, because that means they did well against your team. You don't want to be the one where the Jets are posting, like, joint practices going awesome, touchdown, air Jets, and then they show a highlight and you're the one in coverage. Like, man, that's not what I was hoping for. So the stakes do raise a tiny bit, even if they don't actually matter. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on to getting some numbers game contestants, let's talk timepieces. Tim Donnelly here for Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. Let's talk Rolexes. How about that? Right, when it comes to iconic logos, iconic brands, let's talk pre-owned and vintage Rolexes. How about that? Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry, has the largest selection of pre-owned and vintage Rolexes in the state of North Carolina. They have a large selection of pre-owned timepieces in general, but the largest selection of pre-owned and vintage Rolexes in North Carolina. And what I encourage you to do is stop in. First of all, the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, cool vibe, right? They can hook you up with a drink, some music. They can quench your thirst for knowledge about all of the different timepieces they have. But also, you want to stop in every now and then to see what's in the pre-owned and vintage Rolex case and talk to them about it, right? Like, hey, I'm interested in one of them with a nickname, right? The Hulk, Batman, whatever they call them, right? These colorways that are on the Rolexes. If you're interested in something, let them know. They can let you know when one comes through the door and kind of key off on the wait list of the Rolexes they have as they come in and out of their pre-owned and vintage case. It's all happening at Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. Make sure when you stop by, not only do you ask about your favorite watch, but also you let them know you heard about it right here from me on 99.9 The Fan. Now we need those numbers game contestants. We're going to get a pair of contestants that are going to compete in the numbers game. The winner will receive a $25 gift card to Sharky's Place. That's Sharky's with back-to-back. Nice. Sharky's with back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle. Voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharkies. If you want to win the gift card, got to play the game. If you want to play the game, you know what you have to do. You have to call in. 2 contestants. Call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. And you might get a chance to play the numbers game, which is coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It feels like Jets fans are doing it to themselves all over again, falling head over heels for this team. I don't want to see another year where they have these high hopes and you see Aaron Rodgers running out of the tunnel in a primetime game, and then 4 plays later, your season's over. I don't want them to have that type of letdown again.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Are you ready to rule the realm? With the new Game of Thrones scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can. This epic game gives you the chance to win up to $200,000 instantly, or a trip to beautiful Napa Valley to play the Seven Kingdoms experience, where you could take home your share of up to $7 million in cash prizes. So treat yourself like royalty. Play the Game of Thrones scratch-off today, and let your reign begin. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds are 1 in 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
You know it's going to be a good day when your biggest concern in the morning is collecting the crumbs falling from the McDonald's crispy chicken biscuit. Your only concern should be, has your day peaked too early?
Start your morning off on a high note when you save on a warm and buttery crispy chicken biscuit for just $2.50. Only at McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling. Better with Pepsi.
Swing by your local Family Fair where you can get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for just $4. Family Fair, first in Thirst.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is one of our favorite times of day. It's numbers game time. Part where I get to pretend to be a game show host. Now, here's how it's going to work. We are going to get two contestants on the line. Matter of fact, we already have them on the phone line. One just dropped. Who dropped? Michael or Dalton?
Dalton did.
Dalton dropped, which means we have Michael and Raleigh on the line, and someone out there, you may have an opportunity to get on very quickly if you call in quick right now. 919-860-5326. We need one more contestant. 919-860-5326. Michael and Raleigh needs a competitor. So we'll see if you can call in. By the way, there's a $25 gift card to Sharky's Place on the line. So if you're interested in playing for the gift card, 919-860-5326. In the meantime, let's get Michael on the line. Michael, are you there?
I am here.
All right, you lucked into it. You don't even have to answer a question to go first because you're the one that's stuck on the line. So jump straight to the categories here. Are you ready to choose?
I'm ready.
All right, NFL. The categories to choose from are NFL, Fork Union Military Academy guys. So these are all players that spent some time at Fork Union Military Academy. NFL Life of Brian, all players with the first name Brian. NBA Current Players Only, or NHL Canes and Whalers Only.
Let's go NFL Brian.
All right, all players with the first name Brian. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Let's do it.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Brian Burns, Carolina Panthers.
53.
Correct. Brian Westbrook, Philadelphia Eagles.
36.
Correct. Brian Urlacher, Chicago Bears.
54.
Correct. Brian Mitchell, Washington Redskins.
8.
Incorrect. Brian Blade, Seattle Seahawks.
12.
Incorrect. Brian Mitchell, Washington Redskins.
18.
Incorrect. Brian Blade, Seattle Seahawks.
33.
Incorrect. Brian Mitchell, Washington Redskins.
Wow.
Your first three, smooth. Brian Mitchell put a little speed bump on there for you. By the way, if you're playing at home, for Brian Burns, he said 53, which was a correct answer. We would have also accepted 0. He switched to 0 later in his tenure with the Panthers. You got Westbrook with 36, got Urlacher with 54. Brian Mitchell with Washington wore number 30, and Brian Blades with the Seahawks wore number 89. But you did get 3. It is a solid number, definitely in the running for the win. So go ahead and stay on the line, and we'll see if it holds up. Do we have another contestant, Dennis? We have Christian from Raleigh on the line. Christian, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're going to jump right into it. Are you ready to pick a category?
I'm ready.
All right. NFL Fork Union Military guys, all players that spent some time at Fork Union Military Academy. NBA Current Players Only, or NHL Canes and Whalers Only?
NBA Current Players.
All right. The way this works, I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number. Work as quickly as you can because there's only 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. You need 4 for the win. Any questions before we jump in?
Nope, I'm ready.
All right, I like it. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Luka Doncic, Dallas Mavericks.
77.
Correct. Julius Randle, New York Knicks.
30.
Correct. Jaren Jackson Jr., Memphis Grizzlies.
13.
Correct. Kyle Lowry, Miami Heat.
7.
Correct. Anthony Simons, Portland Trail Blazers.
31.
Incorrect. Anthony Simons, Portland Trail Blazers.
Pass.
That's all we got. Anthony Simons, Portland Trail Blazers.
3.
Incorrect. Anthony Simons, Portland Trail Blazers.
0.
Incorrect. Anthony Simons, Portland Trail Blazers.
2.
Incorrect. You were so close. You said 0. You said 2. You said 3. We needed 1.
Oh, my goodness.
Luka Doncic, 77, nailed it. Julius Randle, 30, smoked it. Jaren Jackson Jr., you said it like a question, but you were right, 13. Kyle Lowry, Miami Heat, 7. Anthony Simons, Portland Trail Blazers, you said 0, you said 2, you said 3, you said a few other numbers. We needed number 1, and he's also worn number 24. We would have accepted 24 as well. Either way, 4 is enough for the win. Almost a perfect score, which is what I got so excited about. But congratulations, you pick up.
Score, man.
What was that?
I wanted the perfect score so bad.
You were close. You were knocking on the door, but it's not that easy. You get under the lights, you get the microphone live. You never know what's going to happen. But congratulations, you won the $25 gift card, and you just have to sit on the line and give some info to Dennis, and you'll get that that gift card to Sharkies.
Sounds good.
So there you go. Sharkies with back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharkies. Also, I think I know why that contestant wanted the perfect score so badly. Because he wants to be involved in Numbers Game Live. For the past year, we've played hundreds of numbers games. And you've heard the good, the bad. You've heard the offers. You've heard the 3 out of 5s. And you've also heard the perfect scores. We're bringing those champions, the 5 out of 5s. If you are someone out there and you are a perfect score champion, well, you already know by now because we've already reached out to you. It's our inaugural Numbers Game Live presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Invitation-only event which brings all the 5 for 5 past players together on August 21st, a week from today, at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, where you can join us on YouTube, by the way, as we crown a numbers game champ. It'll all be live on YouTube. It'll be fun. We're already working things out. We have some surprises, some prizes that we're excited to give out. And a special thanks to Onsite Audio Visual, who will be supplying the sights and sounds of the Numbers Game Live. Numbers Game Live, Hilton Raleigh North Hills. A week from today, we name a champion of champions when it comes to the numbers game. I hope we get like a true savant. I hope the winner is somebody up there that could go like 40 for 40 if we gave him the opportunity to. And we'll find out. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the transfer portal year is turning over as we head into fall sports. I have some numbers that will blow your mind about the transfer portal this past year. Stick around.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks,
"Want to test drive the Rogue?"
I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra.
Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Every season can be punishing for your roof. Mother Nature is a fierce opponent that doesn't take a break, which is why you need RoofWorks on your building maintenance team. Hi, this is Holly from RoofWorks. We specialize in keeping your commercial roof in great condition no matter what the issue may be. We offer roof inspections, roof repairs, and if needed, a full roof replacement. We help determine if there's a problem with your roof and advise you on the most cost-effective way to handle it. Contact us today at roofworks.com. That's RoofWorks.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The transfer portal is turning over, right? It's like a fresh new heading into the next school year as of earlier this month. What that means is we now have some numbers from the previous year of college sports and the transfer portal, and some of them, quite frankly, they'll knock your socks off. Football bowl division, right? So just the not FCS, just like the upper level. If I asked you what percentage of players do you think put their name in the transfer portal across all of FBS? Like, think of a number to yourself.
So these are like ECU, App, Charlotte,
Yes.
along with the ACC schools here in the state, that level.
The schools that had the full 85 scholarships, although that's not even a thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can have, I think, 110. You haven't seen all that. It's all changing.
Oh, yeah.
NIL rocked the world. But I don't know why, but this number just seems so high to me. 25% of all football bowl division scholarship football players put their name into the portal over the last year. 25%. 1/4. That's like, they always say like 1 in 3, which means look to your left and look to your right. And if it's neither of them, it's you. That means like if you're looking at a college football offensive line, 1.25 of them is going to put their name into the transfer portal within the next year. If you're looking at a running back depth chart, more than one of them each year is going to put their name in the transfer portal on average. 2,800 scholarship football players at just the FBS level entered their names into the database for the transfer portal during the past school year. When you remove those who withdrew or went pro, so they didn't end up at another school, the final total was 2,707 transfers. I bet you some of you are going, there were 2,707 college football players. It sounds like a big number. It's about a fourth. It's about a fourth. 72, like these are numbers. I don't know how this is going to impact college football, but I know that coaches and players are going to start acting differently based on the numbers I'm reading you. There were 72 teams in FBS who lost 20 or more outgoing scholarship transfers this offseason. 72 teams, right? What did I say? There was an 85 scholarship limit this past year. 72 teams are losing 20 or more outgoing scholarship transfers this offseason. That's absurd. right? And only time will tell how it is going to impact things. But think about it as a coach. Are you ever going to recruit what we used to consider a project? Ever?
A developmental player?
I remember, I'll use an example from one of my teams. There was a kid in my recruiting class. He was a left tackle. Showed up, and to put it nicely, upper body was like as wide as mine. I was 6'3", 174 pounds. I'm looking at him going, that's the offensive line that's going to protect. I'm skinny. I'm going to break. He needs to get between me and the big guy, or the big guys on defense. And I'll never forget the defensive line coach, who I ended up being good friends with, came over to me. We were talking. This was during one of our first team gatherings, and he went, "Yeah, but look at his tree trunks, right?" And you look down, he just had thighs that were like as big as oak trees. And what he basically was saying was, he's not going to be playing with the upper body he has now. We're going to get his upper body to look like his lower body, and then he's going to be a stud left tackle. And guess what? He ended up playing for the Browns. He became a stud left tackle, but he did not play a lick until redshirt junior year. I don't know why you would ever bring that player in again. Because you're going, well, actually, that scholarship over the next redshirt junior year means he didn't play redshirt year, didn't play redshirt freshman year, didn't play redshirt sophomore year. You're going, that scholarship over 3 years, that could be 3 different one-and-done impact transfers coming in, while I'm sitting over here hoping he turns into a 2-year starter.
Yeah, that's 5 graduate transfer seniors coming in.
I mean, that's
need that one safety.
Yeah, exactly. To maybe, hopefully, have this guy turn into something down the way, when what I could do is wait for him to go to if I'm a Power 5 school, I'll wait for him to go to a Group of 5 school, take up a spot in their weight room for the next 2 years. Then once he develops into the player I think he might be, grab him out of the transfer portal. And it's even that's an offensive line example. It's even crazier for quarterbacks. 192 scholarship quarterbacks were on the move. 192 scholarship quarterbacks hit the transfer portal this year. That's like 60 more quarterbacks than there are schools. ESPN expects 25 to 30 portal quarterbacks from this past year to earn starting jobs at Power 4 programs this year. And another 25 to 30 to earn starting jobs at Group of 5 programs this year. There's like 130-something total programs in FBS. ESPN is estimating 50 to 60 of them are going to have quarterbacks that weren't on their roster last season, starting this season.
So roughly 35, 40%? Somewhere in that range?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So think about it. Right, I did the coach's example on why they would ever have a development player. If you're a quarterback, why would you ever wait your turn? Right? There used to be, not that long ago, you could bring in a freshman with a junior starter and just tell them, listen, work hard over the next few seasons. You might get a chance when they graduate. And guys would just do it. They would just hit the weight room, practice as much as they could, get really excited about spring games, and wait.
Take that redshirt year, maybe wait one more before you get 3 years as a starter.
Why would you do that now, knowing every year there's 40%, 37%, whatever it ends up being, of transfer starters, so you might wait your turn, and then your coach gets some guy from Notre Dame who's only available in the transfer portal because they grab some guy from Duke who's only available in the transfer portal because that coach left. That is going to change the way people make decisions. And you can, the thing is, a player leaving, what is everyone going to say? Oh, they're running from competition. They don't want to earn their spot. It ain't always that. New coach, new system, new guy. Meanwhile, you paid your dues for 2.5 seasons with some coach that's taken some other job. And here's the thing that most people are going to point to as the big unintended side effect of all of this, right? The negative. As of the writing of the ESPN article on the portal, the count of uncommitted portal guys was currently sitting at 356.
Goodness.
Which means 356 FBS scholarship football players elected to leave where they had a scholarship, and they had not found a place to land yet.
That's the equivalent of about 4 teams.
Yeah.
Like 4 scholarships worth of teams.
Yep.
Think about it in that regard.
Just flapping in the breeze right now. Now, I will say that number, I mean, it's probably a little faulty because there might be a graduate transfer who's already gotten their degree and said, I'll put my name in the portal, and if, my favorite team ever wants to come recruit me, I'll go there. But if not, I'm looking forward to starting my job as a whatever you got your degree in. Like there's probably some of that. There's probably some that hit the transfer portal with some kind of mark on their reputation, right? I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing. So maybe it's not quite 356 of just like hardworking, deserving players who want a spot and can't find one. But there's a bunch of them that are. There's a bunch of them that thought, I'm going to hit the portal, everybody's going to want me, and I'm going to go accept my scholarship, finish my education somewhere else. And they hit the portal, and their phone was crickets. And that's going to be the unintended side effect. The unintended side effect is going to be with all this movement, there's going to be a musical chair situation, and not everybody's going to have a seat. And you do feel for those individuals. Rice, by the way, in case you're asking, Rice down in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Fewest scholarship players lost. They lost only 3 players in the 2023-2024 season. Just 3.
Just via transfer?
Yeah, they lost 3 transfers. The next closest was Louisiana with 7. So Rice is like half as much as anyone else in the country.
We're doing it right down here.
There were only 9 teams that lost single-digit players to transfers.
Like the anomaly.
Yeah. And guess who's one of them? Guess who only lost 8?
State.
Nope. Dennis,
Carolina.
You're going to be excited about this one.
Hit me.
Nebraska.
Let's go.
Matt Rule. Matt Rule has everybody bought in up there. Nobody's bailing on Matt Rule.
Oh, gosh.
Matt
At the end of the day,
he's running a program that nobody wants to leave.
When I was at Panthers training camp a couple weeks ago, I talked to another media member who's from Nebraska. I won't say this person's name. Big Nebraska Cornhusker fan. I know we only have a minute left here. He was telling me that Matt Rule is beloved in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
He even said to me, this other media member said, the Carolina Panthers did not deserve Matt Rule.
Whoa.
I was like, yeah.
I was with you up until that last
I was
sentence.
like, I thought you meant like in a bad, like, yeah, you're right, we didn't deserve Matt Rule.
We didn't know he
like, you
did
didn't.
nothing
I was like,
wrong.
I was like, oh.
What were we being punished for?
That's what
funny.
you meant.
That is funny. I've lived in Nebraska. They love their football coach right up until they don't, and then they.
Oh yeah, they love Scott Frost for a while,
and then they don't. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. But we have Overdrive coming up next with a conversation about the state of Bryce Young and where he could be, should be, will be a year from now. So that's coming up to start Overdrive. We encourage you to hang around for that. We also encourage you to show back up tomorrow at noon for the next fan football flyaway keyword during the Adam Gold Show. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Until then, have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Get ready for the ultimate football fan experience.